here. It's a show, and it begins in 3, 2, 1. Hello and welcome back to Core. It is Core, talking video games, stuff around the industry, a little E3 wrap-up, and who knows what else. I'm Scott Johnson with Bo Schwartz and John Jagger. Fellas, it was quite a week we had. We came, we laughed, we came again. Wait a minute. That sounds bad. I didn't mean that to sound bad. That sounded bad.
We came to the E3 stream.
Thank you.
It wasn't a inaccurate description of my week, so, it's fine.
Not entirely inaccurate. But yeah, we had a busy one, and we did a lot of coverage. And if you listen to the audio version of the podcast, you probably felt a little inundated with all of that. And our patrons as well. We've been putting up on that feed. So I hope you enjoyed it. It's basically us talking over a lot of content. And today, I watched the Microsoft Extended Edition thing that they did today. I don't know what that was called exactly. I can't remember now. Microsoft Showcase Extends, something like that. Anyway, The point of that thing was, hey, remember all those trailers and stuff we showed? What if we showed those again and then talked about them? So that was basically it. And so I decided not to put that one up.
It's a victory lap.
It kind of was, yeah. It was well done. Like, I really liked the host, and now I can't remember his name. I followed him on Twitter now, but that's not his real name. Anyway, that guy was great. Outside of that, though, it was a lot of sort of, remember that trailer we showed you for, Horizon Car 5, Horizon Zero Dawn 5. What's it called?
Forza Horizon 5.
Remember that?
Wow.
Well, here it is again. And not only now is it again, we're going to tell you about all these cool reflections and the tech involved and the blah, blah, blah. And so some of that was interesting, but it was a lot of sort of, well, like Bo said, it felt like a victory lap. So
I think that's a cool way to do it, though, because honestly, of all the press conferences that I saw, Microsoft was my favorite because it wasn't a weird, 20-minute deep dive on one game, and then here's a bunch of trailers we don't have time to talk about because we lingered too long on something.
Mm-hmm.
It was just, check this out, check this out, check this out, check this out. And then, hey, if you want to go and find out more information and see more, that's a separate thing.
Yeah, for sure. And for all, I don't know anybody who watched all of the events and didn't think that theirs was perhaps the best put together. And that impression isn't just, production value. The impression was they came to play. Like, they had stuff to show, and there was a ton of it. And we're going to get into all of that stuff today. Not super detailed, but we'll talk about the things we thought kind of won E3 in our hearts, the games that stuck out for each of us and why we are most interested in those. And maybe some of those we think sort of missed the mark and didn't quite grab us, because there were plenty of those. And there's a couple that really grabbed me, but names I can't remember. So it's my own little thing that I have to deal with.
A lot of games.
Oh, it was a ton. But it just gets so many that you just, it's easy to forget what the frick they said. I guess I now understand how it feels when a podcast listener writes in and says, hey, you guys need to name the games you played again after you're done talking. Don't just tell us at the beginning.
Yeah, that's not a bad idea, actually. I've been on the receiving end of that, too.
Yeah. So it's one of those things. Quick note about the videos that we did, and then we'll move on. The coverage that we did of E3 video. There was a lot of DMCA threats and stuff going on this week, to the degree that E3, the organization that runs E3, the ESA, put out a email to a whole bunch of people, including Jeff Keighley, hilariously, and said, hey, probably don't co-stream anything. Or if you do, just know you're going to get targeted for DMCA takedowns for some reason this year, more in particular. And they weren't real clear on it. It was also the day E3 started, so it was a little bit of a weird kind of out of nowhere warning. And a whole lot of people got them. I got 2 different emails, but I also got one from Twitch saying, hey, we're going to run a channel on our Twitch gaming channel that will strip out any DMCA bait music type stuff, and you'll get to watch that stuff without it. So co-stream there, and you won't run into any problems. But they even said after that, when you're done, still probably delete your VODs because we don't know for sure about anything. I appreciated that because it felt like Twitch was on my side, and on the side of streamers and content creators in this little weird moment. Microsoft put out a cool statement about how they were supporting some of this stuff. On the other side of the spectrum, freaking Nintendo, notoriously always bad at this, but Nintendo puts out a statement that says, yeah, we'd really like it if you we love that you want to have reactions to our announcement and our video thing. So watch it, but only show your reactions. No audio or video from the event, please. Just your face reacting to what we say.
It's a special kind of place in hell for people who are litigious about their ads not being redistributed.
Yes.
Right? Like, I get the game, I get the movie, the TV, the content, streaming even. I don't like it, but I understand the concept. You're streaming our game. That's not, you need a license to stream the video game. It's an ad for the game.
Right.
Its sole purpose in existence is for a hot minute when it's distributed everywhere as marketing. And so if people are sharing that for free, everyone should be fully erect, or well, maybe that's the wrong way of putting it, but you know what I mean? Like, just fully like, I want this. Like, this is, we're happy. We are getting engagement. It is being redistributed. So many people are seeing this. I've done a good job. Where's my bonus? And so they're like, please don't show it. It's against the law. And I'm like, like, did you time travel to the future thinking you'd make a video game company and not understand what's happening in the universe?
So
like,
dumb. It's so dumb.
It's so bad. It makes me want to protest, not buy their stuff. But this is pretty good stuff.
Yeah, that's the problem with Nintendo, right? They make crack, but at the same time, we are annoyed about how they handle their promotion of their crack. But yeah, like that was a really weird stance to take. They've already been weird in the past. I kind of thought we were over it, at least to that extent. But so we decided not to do the Nintendo coverage. It's like, well, that's annoying, so we're not going to do that. So no free PR for you, for any of the people that wanted to hear us talk over it. So
excuse us while we put our own foot in our mouth, or chop off our nose in spite of our face here. Don't mind us.
I think part of that is, the Nintendo of America and Nintendo of Japan are separate entities in a lot of ways, and that includes, I think, in some ways, culturally within the corporation itself is very different. And I think there's mixed messaging. I just think you get a weird message from Japan. The U.S. tries to react.
Japan was the one who said, don't do it.
Yeah.
And America was like, you'll probably be fine.
But the Japanese stream like we do here too, right? Like, I know we don't watch Japanese streams here, so we don't have a sense of what that's like. But I assume there are people in Japan doing Japanese reaction videos to the latest Hello Kitty thing that's launched, or there's a trailer for the new line of whatever. Like, that's got to be a common thing there too.
Yeah,
like,
I would think so.
I wonder if we have anyone who's like familiar with Japanese culture, or who is Japanese, or can tell us if this is also weird to the Japanese. Because
there is definitely a clear cultural issue with it, because PlayStation 4 had that, we want to make it easy for people to stream. But then you look at American games versus Japanese games. American games are like, yeah, sure, broadcast it. Go. We'll turn off the broadcast if you're going to be entering a password or buying something or in a menu or something like that. But then think about you streaming Final Fantasy, Bo. The entire last chapter of Final Fantasy VII Remake, you couldn't stream. Because Japan is weird about that.
That's their own brand of dumb.
They're like, no, we won't do it. And I mean, you've heard stories about them in the like early days of the internet going, don't post screenshots on your website.
Yeah.
Like, just don't. Like, it's always been, they've always been a little behind the curve with regards to that sort of thing. And I don't think that trend has fully come around there necessarily.
Yeah, I agree. It's really frustrating. But as a result, we didn't do that one. I mean, I was interested in what they showed, and we'll talk about it. I mean, some of what they talked about ended up on a couple of our best of E3 lists even. But they do themselves a disservice by acting like they don't live in 2021 and don't understand how the internet works. It's just really weird to me. Like, I can understand if part of it was, well, we don't want you to show it because there's music that we had to license and they'll take your channel down. We're doing this for you. But they're not even saying that. This is all their own content. Nintendo's not playing third-party audio. They're not playing third-party video. It's all their own stuff. And they want to sell more stuff. You know how you do that? More eyeballs. It's a commercial. Bo's right.
To be perfectly honest, in this day and age, I find there's very little excuse for the industry not licensing the relicense.
Well, that
like,
too.
We want to use your music for an ad or for a game, and you also accept the condition that it might be restreamed.
Yeah, that should be part of the deal. I agree.
Like, that shouldn't be a consumer problem whatsoever. Like, it's 2021. Your time to control digital media through physical property is over. the real estate, that boom is bust. Like it's all infinitely shareable, and there's these clinger-ons that are just trying to stuck in the past at this point, and it's annoying.
They're trying to
I
NFT
think
that business now.
specifically with the music industry, you've got a lot of people who, back in the day, they got to be fun middlemen to a lot of the process, and then all of a sudden technology caught up and they realized their jobs were about to become obsolete, and the only alternative they had was to become extremely protective and litigious about their properties. And
until they can figure out how to NFT. You know, this you posted this week, Scott, about NFTs. You made you were just like, this is kind of like multi-level marketing.
Oh yeah, that's how it feels to me. I mean, I'm not. Look, let me clarify that real quick, because I had to clarify it a bunch on Twitter when I said. So I basically said, I figured out what NFTs, the culture around NFTs reminds me of. Not the technology itself or the blockchain or any of that. That stuff, there's all kinds of uses for it where you don't even talk about in public because we're not there yet. But NFTs in particular, non-fungible tokens, all of that discussion, when I talk to crypto bros, I feel like I'm having a conversation with somebody who's trying to sell me on a multi-level marketing scheme. Someone's trying to sell me Amway. And I hate MLMs with the fiery sun of 1,000 moons. That makes no sense.
Everyone should. Like it's meant to be predatory. Absolutely. And I got that from what it also got me thinking about, and I didn't end up posting this because like this is too elaborate for Twitter. Not a good use of Twitter. Is that part of this non-fungible token thing? I was watching a stream about it, and they're saying the fun underlying technology isn't about currency. It's about being able to track anything, like plane tickets. Your plane flight gets canceled, it's immediately checked. Like the blockchain can be used for non-currency applications, and like NFTs with art is just one of them. But it got me thinking that eventually that music industry, and this is just me imagining, and maybe I shouldn't give them ideas, will produce non-fungible tokens for individual song downloads. So when you go to iTunes and you buy your Drake song, it will register and play on authorized devices by checking it against a catalog. And if you happen to give that particular MP3 to someone, copy it in some way, then it's detected as piracy and shut down or not playable. Or like, there's this whole like, we can track all digital media now through these sort of serial numbered things that kind of scared me about all this. And I really I didn't like having that thought.
Well, I'm going to play this just because this is a good time for it. But I also don't disagree, because I think people are going to try to. I guarantee you there are people in boardrooms or Zoom rooms right now saying, "Hold on now, what if this technology would make it so no one could ever copy that copy of that Blu-ray?" And like whatever. Yeah. Like there are people thinking about it, and I'm not even pro piracy. I'm pro knock it off with the bullshit is what I am. So
internet, and the internet was a free open internet. Like it's a philosophy, right? And it just runs counter against the structure of property that exists in the world, unfortunately.
Yeah. It's also pretty weird. And people who say, wouldn't you like to have a verification that the Mona Lisa that you bought is the right one? I'm like, no one's buying the Mona Lisa. Quit using this as the example. This is the worst freaking straw man argument I've ever heard. It's so dumb. I hate it. Anyway, I'm sure we'll get some feedback on this.
I'm just saying Nintendo will be among the first to do this, probably.
Maybe they'll do it after Mario Golf, because I'm ready for that. Bring it in. I'm breathing that in this coming week.
Is it still cartridges for the Switch?
Yeah, you can download. Yeah. You can download digital and stuff. So
no, you can download, but they still have the physical retail business, which is charming in its own right. But
well, also, technically they all do. Sony and Microsoft, everybody still sells discs, but it's just getting less and less and less.
Oh, Microsoft still does?
Oh, yeah.
I thought they completely ejected themselves from it.
No, in your case, the S does not have a drive.
Oh, but the X does.
The X does, and but you're not wrong about the trajectory we're on is 100% that. Like we are heading toward a time where not only will everything mostly be digital, but I think we're heading toward a time where mostly it'll be streamed, and there'll be a generation of kids. I think Tom Merritt said this week on our show on TMS. He came on and said, there'll be a generation of kids who think we are weird for wanting digital download versions of a game. Why would you download it when you can just play it? Like, they're going to say
just turn on the box and it's, yeah, I get it.
They're going to
I believe it. With GeForce Now, it's going to be a thing.
Yeah, it is. So
not far from it. I already feel weird whenever I get on my high horse about the PlayStation, their service where you stream the games, and I'm like, I don't want to stream it. I want to download it.
Yeah.
And as I make that argument, I'm like, oh, there's people rolling their eyes and going, all right, old man, on this argument. But
Well,
I just don't think we're necessarily there yet. And I think I should be allowed to download Chrono Cross instead.
I do too. That's the point, is that we are in a weird middleware point, and so you're not wrong and they're not wrong at the same time. And I'm, by the way, with you on this. I would much rather download the game than play it streamed. In extreme situations, I got a tablet with me or an old notebook and I want to play in a hotel. Awesome. Let's try that streaming thing. That sounds great. But if I'm in front of my console or in front of my PC, let's download it. I got huge hard drives. Hard drives are cheap. It's no big deal. That's true. And at the same time, this thing is coming and it will be true one day. So I don't think there's any problem with having one foot in one side and the other. My feet used to be your foot was in digital and physical. And my foot is out of physical completely. I haven't bought a disc or a cartridge for anything in I don't know how long. Like, I think the last one was a Switch cartridge, and it was because it was $20 cheaper to get it that way than it was because it was on sale on Amazon or something. So yeah, like we'll get there and it's fine. And when it comes, it'll make sense. It's not like we're going to be ripped out of our comfort zone. The comfort zone will shift with this, and it will be comfortable when we get there. And the internet will have to catch up for a whole lot of people, and access to better broadband. There's a million things that have to fall into place before it's 100% the thing. But we'll get there. And then that day, John, you'll say, yeah, it's better today. I like it. It's fine. It's good.
Yeah.
But right now,
well, I mean, right now we're just in a place where everything wants to connect to my Wi-Fi, and it's like, it's such a mess. It's like, we got too many devices on the Wi-Fi. It's like, but my Wi-Fi handles like 15 devices, and then you go down the list because everybody wants to be on your Wi-Fi now.
Yeah.
Depending on how smart your home is, even your appliances are wanting to be on the Wi-Fi now, and it's just ridiculous. And it's like, no, I don't want my video games to rely on my Wi-Fi connection. I know how unreliable that is at the moment.
Yeah.
But eventually that'll go away. And then I don't have to be an old man about it.
Right.
I can play Chrono Cross wherever I want.
Wherever you go, Chrono Cross will be there. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
I knew we'd get to Chrono Cross eventually. All right. Well, let's get into these things that we saw this week, what we liked, what we didn't, and more. Started the week off, or the coverage off, with that Jeff Keighley business. And to be honest, I kind of forgot about that. I think maybe rightly so, I forgot about it, because at the end of the day, or at the end of the week, anything they showed was either already known or was going to be showed here in these other conferences. It kind of gets rendered a little moot by the end of the thing. And I don't want to bash it, because I actually really like that he's doing it. I also like the energy behind it. I think Jeff's got a legit desire to sort of pull away from, the branded mess that is E3 and make a little bit more of an open attempt with the Summerfest. But at the end of E3, I kind of forgot everything there was to say about that Summerfest. Like, what was there? I don't know.
With the exception of Elden Ring, I don't think there was anything that had a pretty strong showing anywhere else.
Oh, right. That was their big reveal. It was Elden Ring there. I forgot.
Which isn't gonna scratch an itch for you, but for a lot of people,
for a lot of people it would. Sure. And then they, showed more of that and have said more since and stuff, but it was just easy to sort of forget all of that. And I don't know if that's unfortunate or how I really actually feel about it, but there was a ton of stuff. I liked a lot of what I saw. For me, it started early with that Guerrilla Collective thing, most of which you can see on Steam, and a lot of it's in demo form now and coming down the road, and a couple of them are even games that are out or in early access now. But it was basically a collective of indie developers and their games that are coming. And for me, that's always exciting. I love to see where indies are at and what people are doing, and there was some really cool stuff shown in there. Really hard for me to narrow down a specific game. But in the case of John and I, we had big agreement on something that I would call sort of, I don't know, straddles the line between indie and retro and whatever, and that's Metal Slug Tactics. I did it again. Freaking Metal Gear keeps popping into my head. But anyway, a tactics game set in the Metal Slug universe. Both of us freaked out. It was like, shit, look at that. I'll play that. Let's play it right now. I was freaking out.
It has been, Metal Slug has been, I've loved the sprite work in those games forever. I mean, it has always been kind of this gorgeous kind of game. that I'm just horrible at.
Yeah.
I've never been good at it, and so Metal Slug has always been that thing that's like prettier to look at than it is to play. And now we're getting into a game that's a little more in my wheelhouse, and it kind of feels like the best of both worlds. Like now it's a game I really want to play, and I still get all that beautiful art on top of it, and that's just I'm so excited for it.
Yeah.
I didn't think I would have been that excited for it. They even said it, and I was like, oh, okay. And then I thought about it, and I was like, well, wait a minute. Why am I going, oh, okay to this? This is 100% up my alley. This is a game type I like and an art style I love. Let's go.
Yeah, same. I got real excited about it. Bo, you weren't there for this one. Did you? You have any interest in Metal Slug Tactics?
Metal Slug Tactics. I think I missed this. I'm watching what you put up on the video feed now. I don't have any. Yeah, I don't.
No love for old Metal Slug. Cool.
Yeah.
Side-scrolling animated sprite, loving any of that stuff.
I guess I just don't have any connection to the rest of the series, so it would be a new thing for me.
Yeah.
And I mean, it looks cool, but
you like your turn-based strategies though. You might enjoy that.
I do, but there are plenty of them. I think that's going to be a recurring theme for me this week. Is I have a backlog like the length of New Jersey.
Yeah.
In games to play, so I'm like, I look at all these new games and I'm like, don't got time for that. It's hard to like just be sitting there and be hyped. I get stressed. I'm like, I hope this doesn't look good, so I have to add it to my backlog.
Yeah, no, I feel you.
So Metal Gear didn't really,
See, it's
Metal
hard.
Slug.
It's hard.
Metal Slug Solid didn't really jump out at me.
It's hard not to say it. I can't freaking help it.
Yeah.
Plus, John,
Metal
every
Gear.
Monday, John and I are playing Resident Evil Village. And every time I pick up a damn scrap heap or whatever, there's like a little gear there, and I always say Metal Gear, and then he'll say Metal Gear. It's just in my head. So Metal Gear. If metal's in your name, I'm just gonna say gear after the word metal.
Yeah,
Pretty much.
Thanks,
That's
Kojima.
pretty much it.
Yeah.
What a nonsense word that is now just ingrained in us as completely normal. You know what I mean?
Like,
Like
that's so stupid. I don't know. Why
Metal
we did
Gear
it.
Solid. We're like, yeah, that's
Why did we
that's
let it
just
happen?
the name.
It's our fault. We let it happen. Like Kojima is such the troll. The dumbest ideas on the planet. Put him in a great bunch of video games, and now we're screwed. We all think it's normal. Well, it's not
Got
normal.
us.
It's not normal.
win.
It was a good game, Metal Gear Solid.
Oh yeah, hell yeah. All
It was the
Metal
bee's
Gears.
knees at the time.
Freaking 5 is one of my favorite games of the generation. I kind of feel like going back to it sometimes, but then I stop myself and like Bo, I go, look at my backlog. I have other games to play.
Yeah.
Should probably
Do I
play
have
those.
time for this old game? Maybe not. I don't
Yeah. Sir Whiskey Jack in the chat says we are drowning in entertainment. I mean, yeah, kind of.
know. Yeah.
That's true.
It's an embarrassment of riches is where the phrase comes from, and I think we're in that mode right now in games. The game space is just full of everything you'd ever want from anyone, and new services like Game Pass and others that are like making this powerful argument to play where you want, when you want, for as least amount of money as possible. Like it's kind of nuts.
A movie backlog is easy to clear out. You know, you got 10 movies you want to watch, you figure out where they are, you take a weekend or two and you clear them out.
Yep, you watch them.
Game
You sit there.
backlog at 100 a clip and you've got 6 of them and you're like, oh boy, better not make any plans.
Yeah, and if you like RPGs, like what are you going to do for the next 800 hours of your life? Like,
Yeah. And then, you know, if you have a job, you work for a living, you got a family, you got, you know, so you're getting what, 10, 20 hours a weekend? Like,
yeah, it's a lot.
it takes a long time to get through just an average game. And I mean, you know, I think all these poster children for games are bad examples because they're on YouTube and Twitch and they just have time to play all day.
Right.
And
It's
their
a job.
perspectives are not the perspectives of, you know, the average user.
Yeah.
So yeah, stressful.
Yeah, you can't compare yourself to, I don't know, Ninja or whoever, because that's their job, like literally their job. And I'm not.
But
so
they
sure.
are the loudest voices. Like the kinds of feedback that you hear a lot are about game balance and stuff to do with the game. All great feedback. Not going to talk, but like there's very little YouTube videos like I can't play all these games. I only have 20 hours. Developers, stop making crazy bloated ass games and make like reasonable sized games. You know, like. No, nobody with all the time in the world in their hands is ever going to make that criticism, so it doesn't get heard. I don't think.
Tally asked us kind of a side question here. Any good turn-based suggestions? I mean, You can't go wrong with XCOM 2. Just get that whole collection and play that until your face bleeds. It's so good.
Yeah, with the expansion, that's really... That
amazing.
Really adds something to it. That expansion was so cool.
It's amazing. I also think, well, no, Tally, I know you played it, but Gears Tactics.
Tears of War.
Tears of War. Metal Tear Solid. Gears Tactics was such a nice surprise. I loved that game so freaking much. And later in the show, I'll tell you, well, we have an email about it, and I also played a little bit more of this 6-year-old game now called Invisible Ink that never gets old for me. Never. It's turn-based. It's super configurable, infinitely replayable. Looks as good today as it did the day it came out. You'd swear it's a brand new game. I can't say enough about that game, but I will say more about it later. So, yeah.
There's also a series called Disgaea, which is a very good turn-based game. Goes extremely deep. If you want a game that you can just dive into and possibly get lost in, that's one of them. It is known for its insane depth.
Yeah,
so
Mario and Rabbids is awesome.
Solid.
Yeah. Sorry, Sharon's also saying Mario and Rabbids is good, and they just announced a new one of those. I should be more excited about the sequel, but I felt like it was already coming. And then, I mean, you can start counting every RPG that uses turn-based tactics, but I don't know if that's wise. I mean, if you want something that's really focused on turn-based, the names we've given you are good. Maybe add to that like Wasteland 3, I think is awesome, but it's also, Wasteland 3 is like a full-blown kind of Fallout RPG. And for that matter, Fallout 1 and 2 are amazing turn-based RPGs. So
Fallout Tactics just got added to Game Pass. That one is your turn-based tactical game.
Wasn't there a game called what was it called? Something Brotherhood or Brotherhood of the Steel.
Brotherhood of Steel. Yeah.
Steel Brotherhood. Whatever it is. But there was a period, or there was a game that was a standalone top-down 2D or three-quarter view 2D looking game, and it would be like the last one until 3 that was just some kind of weird multiplayer thing or something. But do I remember this wrong? Did that exist?
I don't know about multiplayer. I know they did a tactic one that was the tactics one that was separate, but I don't know about.
Because you played the tactics one, you said something about that the other day, right? You thought
I thought that was Fallout. I was playing Fallout Tactics, and I thought that was what Fallout was.
Gotcha. Okay. Well, point being. That Solasta game is very much one of these. There's a ton of them. This is both point, I think. There's so many.
I mean, there's a lot, but you could also run into that whole, you're looking for a specific taste, and you have 100 flavors, like ice cream flavors, and none of them are the taste you're looking for.
Yeah.
Like, if you played Divinity Original Sin 2, loved it, and want another game like that, everything else is going to be lacking. There's a reason that game got a really high review. It's because there are other turn-based games out there, but none of them will be as satisfying or as fun as that best example. You know, like, you'll get sort of half of it. If you're a fan of the genre, it's one thing, but like, I find sometimes, like, I want a good card battler, and I tried a whole bunch of card battlers. I'm like, yeah, they're all really good and well worked on, but not quite the one I want. And you're just like, you feel like you're being ungrateful, but that's how you feel, and that's just what you feel.
Yeah,
that's all.
I have that all the time with certain games of different
I want an
genres.
RPG. You try 20 RPGs, and you're like, these aren't the RPG I want to play.
So they're not the RPGs you're looking for, you might say, in a Star Wars voice.
Yeah.
All right, what else? They showed Redfall. That looked really great. I'd put that on my list.
Yeah, it's on mine too. In a world where everybody is doing a shooter of some kind, usually against zombies or just regular dudes, or your just regular dude shooter now has aliens in it for some reason.
Yeah.
Vampires felt very fresh.
Yeah.
To just suddenly be like, well, what if vampires?
But also very stylistic vampires, which I think makes all the difference. Yeah. I didn't want just pretty people. I wanted weird ideas, and that trailer showed me some weird effing vampire shit, and I'm into that.
That's Arcane doing it too, right? That's Redfall.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. That actually looked pretty interesting. Do we get gameplay? I saw the cinematic trailer. But...
No, and also
not in anything I saw, unless they released it separate. But
the Microsoft thing today
with you,
did not
though,
show it
that
more,
it's a refreshing take.
Yeah. Get those big long arms, and just, I don't know, something about it is different enough to make me go, okay, I'm into this kind of vampire. I don't want just pretty vampires. I'm not into that.
And
But-
the heroes too, the vampire hunters seem to have lasery tools. It's not just Joe, Bob, and Jill with guns and knives. Like there's like laser shots and gizmo. They're like Ghostbusters basically. So.
Yeah, it looked good. John immediately was like, "What'd you say about there was a dude that looked like a rogue dude," and you were like, "Oh, that's me. And wear a hood."
Oh yeah, they know what kind of class to put in the game for me.
I had that thought exactly when I saw Hood Guy. I'm like, if we played this game, John would play that guy.
Yeah, absolutely. He stealths. He's got a little raven as a companion. He's a sniper. I was like, okay, you just checked all my boxes.
Yep. For me, it's that demolition dude. I don't know what his name was. We'll call him Bob, but he did like cool explosive stuff, and that's always my jam if I can be that class in a game like this. But for those people that wanted Prey 2 or they wanted some sort of follow up to their other, what's their game called? Not undeliverable, Uncharted,
Undeliverable.
what's it called? It's the one
That
with
would
the
be
mask.
a great game.
With the mask, it's the same.
I play it in an Outlook all the time.
It's the Dishonored. God dang it!
Undeliverable.
I do this all the time.
That was the Academy Award-winning Western with Clint Eastwood.
Oh yeah,
right?
Undeliverable, amazing film, really
Yeah.
good stuff. Yeah, Dishonored. They're not working on any Dishonored that we know of, so this is fine. I'm happy to see what's up, but it seems to be there's a real tendency with this and Back for Blood and that other space shooter whose name I forget. They showed some more of that today. There's a real push right now for everybody to come up with the next Left 4 Dead thing. So there's a lot of nostalgia for that, and of course, for whatever reason, Valve isn't one of them. They should be, but because they don't know what the number 3 is, they don't have a sequel going. But everybody wants one of those, and I feel like Red. What is it? Redfall is that one of those, and I'm in.
Because blood is red, and if it falls, it's scary.
Yeah.
Redfall.
Yeah.
I like that this studio's really going for the studio that creates the most games Scott can't remember the name
I
of.
can't do it.
Between Dishonored and Redfall, nothing.
But you never forget they're called Arcane. I've never heard you mess up the Arcane.
No, I know Arcane. Arcane's easy for some reason. I don't know why. My arcane knowledge.
Like you've never been like Arkansas studio, I think. Like it never happens. You
Arkansas.
always get it right.
Arkansas with their Hot Prey series. Love those guys. Anyway, so that's a cool game. Looking forward to that. I also put on here Metroid Dread that we all did.
Yeah.
Let's
This
talk
is
about
my
that.
top most exciting thing that I just saw it in a trailer, but I was like, this is amazing.
So tell us why. What is it that jumped out at you that you were so stoked
So
about?
I have some questions first though, because they keep also calling it Metroid 5.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But in my mind, the last Metroid was Super Metroid on the Super Nintendo. There
Which was
may have
Metroid
been
3.
on which platform?
Metroid 3 was Super Metroid was the Super NES. That was Metroid 3.
Yeah.
Right.
Metroid 4 was
That was 3?
That was a Wii game.
Oh, it was 3. Yeah.
Four
Yeah.
was a Wii
so
game. Right?
Metroid was an NES game. Metroid 2 was a Game Boy game. Metroid 3 was a Super Nintendo game. Metroid 4 was the Game Boy Advance. What
See, that
was
shouldn't
it
count.
called? Oh no, it should. That game was one of the best Metroid games
Oh,
ever
it
made.
was
No,
so
but
good.
I've got a bit of like discrimination
Metroid
against handhelds.
Fusion.
Like if you have a series on a regular console and then you put a numbered entry onto a handheld, that entry is not canon. It should not be held to canon.
Interesting.
So this should be Metroid 4 in my mind, and maybe Metroid 2 should also not be counted in this. In my mind,
Yeah,
this
I
is
was gonna
Metroid
say
3.
by your own rule, 2 gets thrown out too.
Yeah,
but
yeah. Not that we shouldn't have them, and not that they're not great, but when you tell me this is the 5th installment, it makes me feel like I also have to get the handheld. Nobody wants to play Metroid for the story. Let's hope, at least that's my old school thinking that it's just a side-scrolly fun game. But
Well, also, I have a question about that. Does that mean that Metroid Prime 4 is a separate numbering then? Because the Prime
it's
games
separate. It's separate numbering, but they're all considered canon.
Okay, all right.
With the exception of whatever the one. So, funny story: the people who are here to kill chaos, that studio made a Metroid game.
Yeah.
not too long ago. That one seems to be cut from the canon. Apparently, that one was dumb enough where nobody wants to talk about it or pretend it
That's a good
existed.
sign for Strangers in Paradise.
Yeah.
But beyond that, the Prime series is considered canon, but it isn't part of the official numbering. I think the reason that there is a Metroid 1, 2, 3, 4, and now 5 is because literally the events of the previous game tie directly into what follows. So
Yeah.
Metroid, you escape. Metroid 2, you go back. Metroid 3, there's a Metroid that you escaped with in 2. That ties directly into the opening of Super Metroid. Metroid Fusion, there's a crash, and the Metroid that you saved bonds itself to Samus. I don't know how 5 will relate, but like there is a literal to be continued across that series. Which I think is why they have.
I guess so. I guess, and we can get into gushing why this is awesome in a second. I guess I sort of think of the Metroids as the self-contained games that are more games and not focused on story.
Right.
Again, this goes back to the Doom thing too, where it's like I don't need lore in every single game. Like sometimes I just need a game that's awesome as a game and it's good enough. And I'm sure Metroid will be fine. I'm like, this is the 5th one. Like I got really confused when they were talking in it, so I was curious.
Well, for me, Metroid actually represents one of my favorite things in gaming of any kind, and that is I like isolation stories. And even if it's not a story, I like the feeling of, especially in space for some reason, but just sort of it's Ripley and the alien. Like, that's it. And you are lonely out there. You can turn into a ball. Great. You got missiles and shit, but you really got nobody to talk to. There's something really dreadful about that. I mean, this game's literally called Dread. I don't know, I don't know why that name is there or whatever. They haven't really said, but
they have their version of Mr. X in the game.
Maybe that's shit. Don't tell me that.
No, it's true. They
the Emmy robots. Yeah,
really, they chase you around the whole time.
You can eventually beat these. I got the impression from what I read that they're not meant to be indestructible. It's just they're going to chase you around a lot in the game.
I can deal with that, and it's 2D. That's no problem. I can do that.
Yeah.
2D and 3D stuff in 2D, I should say, because it looks really pretty. But I love that world. I love it. It's one of my favorite things in the world. And when I play games like Shipbreaker, one of the things I love about Shipbreaker is it's me alone out in space doing a thing. And there's something about that. Diablo, I feel the same way. Although I enjoy multiplayer, mostly I like Diablo for being lone hero in a horrible place. Nobody can help me, and I've got to do this myself. There's something about that. You'd think I'd like Souls-likes for this reason, because it's kind of that. They're just too punishing. But I love games where I feel isolated and separated, and it's bad out there, and I got to figure this out. The lone hero kind of stuff really jives with me, and she's one of those heroes or characters for me. I love it. Love it, love it.
Well, the game looks fantastic. So just moving on to the good stuff. I've had fond memories of playing tons of Super Metroid, and we just never got another Metroid on a main console, let's say, for the less invested in Nintendo hardware. And this this trailer, I was like, holy shit, a new Super Metroid.
Mm-hmm.
I think I might want to buy Switch at it. Like this was exciting enough because they're going ham on the art and on the touches and Nintendo Flourish. I'm like, I would play a moody, atmospheric Metroid game and buy a console just to play. Like this to me was the most exciting thing I've seen come out of Switch.
If you call this a system seller for you, you would buy a system for this.
Yeah, this is huge.
Yeah.
I'm gonna wait for a review, and I don't want to spend all that money if it's trash. But I have for the first time ever, I see a Nintendo game that I have a strong desire to play, and spending money on it doesn't feel like an obstacle so much because I would really want to enjoy this updated experience of the Metroid series. This underserved Metroid series.
You're very underserved. That's the other thing, is they take forever to do new ones, and they're beloved, but Nintendo seems slow to, they're always going to have a new Mario and a new Zelda around the corner when there's new hardware or whatever. There's always going to be that. And Metroid just doesn't, for some reason, feels like it doesn't hold the same place in their hearts as it does in ours.
And there's tons of side-scrolling games too, but what makes Metroid special is that the art polish, the touches, like for the generation that they release those games, are usually super well done.
Yeah,
and there's a feel to how there's a reason the genre is called Metroidvania. Like it's the flagship game that all these other games are named after, and they put a lot of hard. I'm hoping they preserve that tradition with this new release and make a really fun thumb candy game to play.
Yeah.
And it looks that way from the trailer, so it makes me excited.
The Wraith in the chat says they are still faster than Ubisoft is with new Splinter Cell games. That's true. They're very slow at those. I was sure this is the year they were going to announce new Splinter Cell. I was positive, but nope. Didn't happen. John, you were going to say?
Yeah, I'm just going to follow what Bo said. Metroid Dread looks great. The Metroid is Nintendo's most atmospheric game.
Agreed.
Like,
yep.
I can't believe I'm going to say this because it's a weird thing to admit, but I think other people who have played it, you know me, Scott, I don't typically get freaked out by games.
Yeah.
The Game Boy Advance game, Metroid Fusion, scared me. I
Really?
was scared playing that game because essentially the story of that game, Metroid Fusion, is Samus gets infected with a virus. They basically have to cut her out of her suit. Like I said, the Metroid that she saved in Super Metroid bonds itself to her to save her, but the armor that she was wearing has a parasite in it, and it rebonds together, and her suit starts walking around on its own, hunting her. And it hunts you through the entire game. So you'll go into a room, and you'll just hear this freaky sound, this music that plays, and you'll just see your own armor walking through the stage looking for you.
Oh, weird.
And it hunts you through the entire thing. It really is like Nemesis. In fact, I think it's even the final boss, so it kind of goes full Nemesis with the story and all of that. But it's genuinely creepy, and like you get a good look at it, and they do this real weird detailed art, and you see that like not only has it mimicked her suit, but even through the visor you see a creepy like irisless version of her face looking out at you.
Ugh.
It's nuts. Like Metroid Fusion is really good. I think a lot of people kind of blew it off because one, it was on Game Boy Advance, and two, the suit looked a little weird. It was definitely unlike the suit in Metroid Dread, which I think is one of the coolest looking, like this is the coolest Samus has ever looked. I love the look of this suit. The Metroid Fusion suit looked a little off. So
Interesting.
I think that game, this series has been amazing. This looks like it's just following right in line. Like it's already looking like it's going for creepy and atmospheric, which is what I think Metroid games need to be. And I couldn't be more excited for it.
I mean, keep in mind the GBA was a more powerful console than the Super Nintendo was. So you're looking at, what it's not. I guess what I'm saying is this. I think them calling this 4, making it a mainline game, 100% fine. But I just confirmed it. I watched the opening credits. It is 4. So this is technically the next Metroid game, the next mainline Metroid game that we're going to get, which is weird, right? Weird.
Yeah, it's a quibbling. It's me being art school about it, I guess.
That's all right. I totally get it. I wish this was more playable. Like, I wish I could play this, like Switch's downloadable service they have with the SNES and NES games and all that. Super Metroid's on there, the old 8-bit Metroid, all that stuff's on there, but they don't have any GBA games on there. And I would love it if they got that stuff on there, because I would play Fusion. It is kind of scary, some of this art. Ugh. John's right. That's a creepy looking game, dude. For a 2D freaking side scroller, it's kind of creepy.
It's genuinely kind of like, this is the picture of Samus. I don't know if that's what you saw, but
I'm looking at her right now. There was one where she was, well, I think this may have been when she took off on her ship, but there's just something about the art style that's very xenophobe. I don't know. Can't go put my finger on it. But the series has always been known for this, right? Like this dark, weird, alien. None of this is familiar territory. And I love that about these games. So bring it on, man. This is great. I'm stoked. And yes, system seller. And technically, Bo, it's for a handheld. It's just the Switch.
I know. I saw that comment in chat too, but I meant, flagship.
Sure. No, I totally get you.
Main system. I've always looked at the handhelds as optional. Because if you wanted a portable game, fine, but they were less good. I realized 2021 has changed all of that dramatically, and
sure. And there are games like this that really stuck out during that particular generation, the GBA generation. This was a big one. This particular game, I remember being just reviewed like 10s across the board at the time.
It must have been a big deal because we have so few Metroid games. Like Nintendo's really good at creating that artificial scarcity by literally not publishing another installment for decades.
It was
You know,
2020.
like-
It was 2022. It was almost 20 years ago, or excuse me, 2002. So it was almost 20 years ago. It's nuts.
Like any game of franchise of theirs that is really good, people love, they don't make sequels or any more games for it unless it's a Mario game.
Yeah.
Then they're like, that Mario did adequately. Let's make 10 more. Let's
Yeah.
do Mario Golf and Mario this. But, you know,
Yeah.
Donkey Kong Country was great.
Well, speaking of which, the WarioWare, the new WarioWare Get It Together looks great. I'm a giant fan of the old WarioWare games. John, I believe that is also true of you. You're a fan of those. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm gonna just say everything that's on your list is on my list for
is it?
good. So
I
I'll
haven't- I
just
haven't
chime
really
in.
compared.
We 100% agree. Apparently, there's some that you have that I don't, but you have everything that I do. So,
Oh, that's interesting.
yeah, I mean, to Bo's point, they don't always make sequels to games that are really, really good, and I love WarioWare, and it's been a long time since we've had a WarioWare, and I'm ready. I'm ready for it.
Yeah.
I love WarioWare. It's so stupid and so dumb, and I don't know how they somehow nail the irreverent, stupid humor, which is so hard to nail and be good at, and they do it every time, and they make it look easy.
Yeah, I don't know.
And
how
it
they do
makes me laugh every single time. And it's the kind of stuff that other things try to do that doesn't work on me whatsoever. I don't know why WarioWare is so good at it.
Yeah, there's something. You're right. There's something about it. And also, these games look these mini games, so stupid. And that's perfect. That's what I want. Like, the Wii game was the only one I felt like they kind of missed the mark a little bit. Again, and here's another example of a GBA original series. That's where the first WarioWare game debuted there. And they, brought it to other stuff later, but it was really the strength of that portable version that made it take off. This looks like a return to that in a big way, and I'm jazzed. Wario's my favorite ancillary Mario character, so he can do no wrong. Oh, there's multiplayer. Look at this bullshit. Oh, geez.
Is that him with his finger in his nose?
Look how meany
Probably.
this shit is. Everything in this looks like something that was made on 4chan and then shared out to Reddit. You know what I'm saying? Like these weird animations and stuff. Anyway. Yeah, that'll be coming soon, and I hope it plays good on a Switch Lite, because that's what I use these days. We shall see. Yeah, our list looks very similar. I just noticed that. You didn't have Starfield. I did. I'm just really excited for it. So.
I put it in my misses category.
Oh, you did? Oh, yeah, look at that.
Oh.
Okay, well, let's get to the bottom of that. Why do you think it missed and didn't hit?
Because, we've built it up. 2018 is when Starfield was originally announced, and it was announced by them saying, hey, let me show you what we've been working on. And then we got a picture of space, and we got some rousing symphonic music, and then we got a logo that said Starfield. And now here we are in 2021, and I feel like we didn't get much more than that.
Well,
Like, we got
Times. It was a daily ritual to load it up on YouTube and just watch it 5 times and go, oh, oh, oh.
Yeah,
just
but
like
you know when
there's
that
one
should-
they feared, the Dragonborn. Like that is still hypes me up thinking about that trailer.
but that
And this
trailer came out right before the game did, or just before.
I
the
know.
game
So
did.
maybe there'll be an awesome trailer soon, and John just needs to be patient because game development takes time, and this is Todd Howard's baby, if I believe
It is, and it's a
newspaper.
year and a half away, by the way. So we're not talking about anything that's even close to being done. I guess my expectations were met because that's how far off that is, and they never show anything more than that when you're that far off. I think they'll show. I'll bet the soonest we get like massive information and like walkthrough and like presentation will be like E3 of 2022 when it's 6 months, 7 months out.
So we all got to be a little George Michaels, 3 little George Michaels, and have a little faith.
Oh, I thought you meant get caught in a men's room doing the, you know what I mean.
Well, we don't. That's not a desirable
Oh,
outcome.
okay.
We don't want to be those George Michaels. We want to be the faith-believing George Michael. We don't have the faith.
Well, you've heard it here. The downside, they didn't show shit, and I agree they didn't. The upside for me is that that engine looks real nice. So,
It's gonna be good. Bethesda main flagship games, even if they're not free. Like I don't play Fallout, but I can see that they're good. This is gonna be good.
And
This is
they've
gonna be
got-
a
And
good game.
Look.
I want to be clear. I'm not saying the game's bad. I'm
Right.
saying the game's showing wasn't good.
yeah,
It's not
I get it.
exciting.
Something For something where they said, "Hey, we're going to be showing you Starfield."
Yeah.
I was like, okay, great. And then they didn't even, I don't know. If I didn't listen to interviews afterwards, I wouldn't even know if that game goes into space or if that was a game about being on a planet and wanting to get into space.
Yeah, you wouldn't know. You're right. They didn't show anything that, they're riding on the back of, hey, we're Bethesda. We make groundbreaking, gigantic games. And guess what? We have all the money of God now because Microsoft owns us. So we're making we have no reason that we can't hit every deadline and make every awesome thing and go the extra mile. Like all of that is what they're trying to say. But as far as like getting me stoked about gameplay, yeah, there's nothing there. I mean, we don't know yet.
I think what John's trying to say, if I can have an analogy here to describe the exact feeling, is what if your president decided to make a national address and then he came on to the stage, he said, "Well, today, guys, I made a little poopy. Just thought y'all should know." And you'd be like, "Why did you call a big address for this? You could have just tweeted it or something." At least, like it's like Starfield. We're just gonna show you something amazing. It's a guy getting in a rocket ship. And the title,
yeah. I mean, you're not wrong.
Still excited.
I can agree. I actually agree with you guys 100% with what you're saying. I just also feel hyped in general because I love space and I love their kind of RPGs are some of my favorites, and
I support your hype. I support the hype. We need to feel positive in the world and not shitty about things. And if you feel good about something, I don't want to take that away from you.
Here's what I'll say, Scott. I'm going to do the opposite. I'm going to make you feel worse.
I guess this is why he plays Resident Evil with you and not me.
Exactly.
I think the Outer Worlds 2 trailer was a better Starfield trailer than
that was the
That was so good.
We're gonna talk about that trailer.
Yeah, let's talk about it now. So real quick, I don't know if you guys saw it today. I meant to put it in our Slack and I forgot. But somebody recut, not by much. They didn't really have to recut anything. But they stripped the audio from the Outer Worlds 2 trailer. And for those who don't know, it's this very self-knowing, fourth wall breaking, sort of making fun of how trailers are made, sort of dialogue applied to that trailer, and it was awesome. Everyone loved it, kind of universally. It was really good. Somebody stripped that out and put it on top of the Starfield trailer, and pretty much nailed every moment of here's a part where there's lens flare, and here's all that stuff. Just completely matched it up with that, and it was freaking funny and maybe a better trailer. They have the advantage of Outer Worlds being kind of comedic in the first place. The first game's got a very sardonic quality to it. I loved the first game, played it, beat it, loved it. I couldn't be more excited about that one. And they showed even less of that, but that game knows what it's doing. You know what I mean?
They were totally all I could think about was Anthem the whole time and Cyberpunk the whole time while that trailer was going. It was the game is not done, but we're going to show you this awesome stuff that won't be in the end. Yeah. Now, here's a dinosaur.
Right. See this creature? Forget it. Put it out of your mind. Not even going to be in the game.
Yeah.
Now we need a guy shooting and running in slow motion. Let's do that.
I mean, how long is this thing? It's worth maybe playing the audio from.
Yeah.
Let me just play a little bit of it. Let's see. How
it's an advertisement. This is not copyright. They want you to play it.
Yeah, they want
to sell
this
Outer
We
Limits.
begin by hearing an old, wise-sounding voice, and we see a quiet, peaceful setting. This will make our game seem big and important. Now, something must break the serenity. Will this creature be in the game? No. Say goodbye to it forever. Suddenly, and for no reason, people running. These pointless slow-motion shots make everything seem cool and should bolster pre-sale numbers. That wah sound can mean only one thing. We must gaze over an epic shot of a world, and there should be lens flares. Now we see our hero, but only their silhouette, because the developers haven't finished the design, or finished the story, or finished any gameplay that's actually ready to show. In fact, the only thing they have finished is the title.
just have like,
I mean,
massive respect, right? Like,
and they did a kick-ass trailer. They didn't phone it in on the trailer like CGI. It's all really well done too. And I swear to God, I want to say like John probably secretly wrote this. Like when he's reading it, I'm like, this is John's language because he's written that for me for my Twitch stream. He's like, Bo's Twitch stream is so amazing.
It's very Dear Martha. You're not wrong. It has that energy for sure. But it's just, so the guy who got to do the trailer for this, whose idea this was and directed it, tweeted, put a whole thread together about his experience with it, and he just kept saying, I cannot believe they let me make it. Like, I can't believe they let me do it, because he was sure they weren't going to do it. He pitched it. He was sure they were just going to go, haha, very funny. No, we got to be serious or whatever. He was sure they were going to turn him down. And these guys went for it. And I think that speaks, pretty highly of the people at Obsidian for being willing to poke this kind of fun and have this trailer kind of be truth for the whole industry. You know?
Yes, they're calling out people. Like, there's got to be some people that saw that felt attacked, because there are people that worked on Anthem. There are people that worked on Cyberpunk. Like, all the people, oh my God, what did they do? And it's not a secret anymore. We know you're phoning it in to hype things up.
Yeah.
Smarten the F up.
Yeah, it's great.
And, this was the biggest breath of fresh air.
I would have already been 110% in on an Outer Worlds 2. I'm telling you, that trailer.
They didn't need to do this.
They didn't need to do this. And that made me want the game even more. That made me go, oh man, they're really going to go for the funny in this. They're going to go for that sardonic, like, contrast of this hideous world that's too commercial. Like, that's the whole thing is a satire. The game is. And it's so well done. Like, I'm more stoked about the game than I would have been otherwise, and it's because
I gotta put the first one on my backlog. I haven't played it.
Oh,
yet,
you'd love it,
sure.
dude! And they added Series S and X performance increase stuff. So now's the time.
No
to
reason
play it.
not to.
Yeah, it was 30 frames
Honestly.
before that, and I played almost the whole thing in 30 because I wanted to play it on the console. But then they changed it, and I played the last third in 60 plus frames, and it was beautiful. Ran great. Anyway. You're right there. You got a little choking on the old chocorino there.
Choking on some coffee. Sorry.
It's all right. John almost killed me one night on Resident Evil, where it made me laugh so hard. I horked they over there still? Nope, they're not there. But I horked what do you call it? Sunflower seed. The whole big giant sunflower seed down the back of my throat because I laughed so hard.
Oh,
yeah.
no.
I heard it. I was terrified, but it was also the funniest thing I had ever heard.
Well, to your credit, you first said, "Are you okay?" at first, and then we realized, everything's fine, and then you had a good laugh. So I appreciated that. Yeah. If I was dying, John was.
Yeah, the last thing you'd want to be is laughing over a dying person by accident. You know what I mean?
Right. On a live stream,
hilarious.
by the way, that would have been the worst on a live stream. Dying.
Oh yeah. Oh my God. Yeah.
That's happened, right? Somebody. I don't mean people who've like tried to kill themselves on streams, but someone's died before, right? Like just flopped over dead.
Do we want to go there? I've had that fear this past year of like pet dying on stream. I'll be honest with you. It's not a pleasant thing to think about because we're all streaming now. Eventually, all of us podcasters are gonna go and croak. And what if it happens on the air? Like,
if you do it enough, the odds are not great.
Nope.
Yeah,
nope.
It's just I've thought about it a lot. It's pointless. Just put it out. It's better to ignore and pretend leave that door closed.
Forget we even saw the door. Yeah, forget we even saw it. All right, moving on. Let's talk about Horizon Zero Dawn. Or sorry, Forza Horizon 5.
Stop promoting phones, Scott. We're promoting games.
Damn it.
Motorola Gear Solid.
I don't know what's wrong with me. So Forza Horizon 5. I love 4. Already loved 4. 4 is amazing. Didn't know they were going to announce a 5, and it'll be out this year, September sometime. It looks insane, that game. Like, even if you don't like racing games, you have to be blown away by the visuals in that game. It is just unbelievable to me that game looks that good. And they talked about...
I'm excited to own a next-gen console for reasons like this.
Oh, yeah, heck yeah.
It was also the second game with a Haboob in it.
Oh, yeah, had a Haboob.
Haboobs were very popular at this E3. They were in a lot of games.
You know how every year it's like, oh, bows are in, not like you bow, but like bow and arrows, or one year's like the grappling hook is the thing everybody's got in their game or whatever. This year it feels like everybody's got a Haboob. in it.
Yep.
And a 4-player multiplayer game.
Yeah, and it's all set in
Yeah,
Mexico.
that's true.
It's all set in Mexico, which is pretty cool because there's just a ton of terrain types and biomes and things in Mexico. It's very cool.
I like that word, biome.
Yeah, biome's a great word. Anyway, I am looking forward to that. And John, I see it's on your list right here.
It is.
Yeah.
I was supposed to play Forza Horizon 4 because you were going to play Yakuza Like a Dragon. I was going to play that. I installed it,
Yeah.
but I didn't get to it.
Oh, you should play it. It's good. The
I'm
Horizon
having
games
a
are
bad
great.
time gauging how much playtime I'm going to have with small child.
They have
And it
figured
turns
out
out
a
it was a
way.
lot less.
It's a lot less than you think, but they've figured out a way to straddle sim, car fetishy, really nice, branded fancy car stuff. The thing you go to mainline for Forza 4, or you go to what's the PlayStation game? It's been around forever. Gran Turismo.
Gran Turismo.
Yeah, you go to those games for that. This game says, hey, what if there's a little of that, but it's mostly like Burnout Paradise, minus all the crashing, because these are branded cars and they don't let you do that as much, but there's still wrecks. You can still, spin out real bad and stuff. But what if we kind of combine that with like the events and the open worldliness and the crazy stuff you got to try to pull off and the kind of emergent gameplay opportunities and the multiplayer and all of that? What if we made a game like that? And that's basically what they've made. And it's great. Love it. So Forza Horizon 5, totally on my radar now. And it looks insane. That'll run beautifully on a PC or any of the two Series X's, S or X rather. So I'm very excited about that. And John, you'll have to let me know what you think of 4, because 4 also runs really nice. That's optimized for the new consoles and PC as well. So let us know. What's that weird Russian thing? I can't remember the name. But
Wait. Okay, hang on. Oh, sorry.
No, go ahead. What were you gonna say?
So I think he reached out to you too, but we heard from a listener because we were calling on this live streams all those games Russian games, but they're all Ukrainian developers.
Oh, are they
And
all? Because I thought the weird one wasn't
There was
Ukrainian.
the weird one. I think is a Russian developer.
Yeah.
You just made me remember because we chatted over DMs quite a bit, and
No, I'm glad you brought that up. He reached out to me
the
as well.
issue is all these Ukraine games are set in Russia, so we just think of them as Russian games. Like their games are literally set in Russia, and we just say Russian, but they're Ukrainian developers.
Right,
But
right.
anyways,
And
footnote
yeah.
resolved.
And the Ukrainian developed game. I'm trying to see if I can find it, and I can't find it. What
So
is this
Stalker
called?
2 is
It's
Ukrainian.
not Stalker 2 that you're
and
talking
Metro-
about, Scott.
No, it's the other one. What'd you call
No, is it Pioneer?
it? No.
No,
Was
Because Pioneer, I think Pioneer was the one made by the Russian studio.
I think it was Pioneer, Scott.
No,
I
it's
think-
something mind or brain or something.
Lemniscate.
Chat room, help me.
Lemnis Gate.
So there's Stalker 2.
Take me to your Lemnis Gate.
Something
There's
mind.
I remember a game called Chernobylite, but I don't remember.
It's
what
not
that
that.
one was.
Atomic brain, atomic mind, atomic shit. Hold on.
Atomic Pioneer.
Atomic Heart. That's it. Atomic Heart. Pioneer. Atomic Heart is the name. If you guys don't remember seeing this trailer or any of the gameplay from this thing, it looks like the weirdest freaking thing I've ever seen. It's on pre-order everywhere. You can get it on Steam even, but it's coming to Game Pass day
Oh
one.
yeah,
Oh,
this
this
would have been.
game.
Yeah, you know what? This is on my list of interested ins as well. I did
weird.
forget about this game. This game has a really good art style, and I
don't-
like it.
Yeah.
Let's see where Mundfish is from.
Another like a psycho Fallouty kind of jam. I don't even know what to make of it. Oh, it's really loud. Sorry, I didn't mean to play that. But yeah, it's got like post-apocalyptic qualities, but robot things, and then some strange lady with a wire coming out of her head that's like undulating, and it just looks
And
insane.
this is in fact a Russian developer.
This is in fact a
not
Russian
Ukrainian.
developer. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. And not
Yeah,
that it
this
matters.
looks
but, yeah.
twisted and dark in all the right ways, as far as I can tell. so
Yeah,
far.
just like a weird. It looks so weird. I'm all in. Like just whatever this is, I'm play the shit out of this. So that's definitely on my list, but I could not remember the name.
For what it's worth, I also thought Stalker 2 looked good. The only thing that held me back on Stalker 2 was that I didn't play Stalker 1. I didn't get into it,
same.
but it
I
made
didn't
me
play
want
it
to
either.
because I thought that trailer actually looked pretty good.
Yeah, I
Like,
agree.
that game's a little bit too old,
Stalker 1.
Yeah, that's kind of where I land.
even for a
So-
remaster, which we'll get to when we have our Mass Effect conversation later.
So hold on. Stalker 1 came out when? Not that I don't believe you.
2000.
Let's see. Is it that old? Jeez.
I think I played it for 5 minutes at one point.
Stalker
I
came
think that's
out-
about what I've played
Oh.
of it as well. I think I got into it and I was like, this game seems
The
hard.
graphics, I remember even at the time, didn't feel like it was that good, even for the time.
Well, it's 2007. So
But
it's
it was one of those,
pretty
no, you
old.
got to get into it and you'll see it's really good.
Yeah, 2007, pretty old. I would argue that, but the trailer looked awesome, and they're a Ukrainian developer, I
Yes.
believe. Yeah, so just for the I'm glad that he reached out to us because it's easy to lump the entire former Soviet Union together and just call them all Russia still.
If they were on friendlier terms, it might matter less. But
There's a lot there.
Not
There's
exactly
a whole lot
neighborly
there.
relationship.
And when you're just being a dumb American, we're like, yeah, they're all Russian. Like, it's pretty reductive. So we apologize for that. It's
That's fine. We
um,
didn't do it
yeah.
in any kind of mean way. We
No,
just
no,
didn't
no.
know. We
No.
just I see a Russian game. I think it's a Russian developer. Yeah.
Now, the other one I couldn't remember a name for, and I've been scratching my brain trying to find it, is this weird side-scrolling cyberpunk-looking thing. It was
Death
Pixar.
Trap.
Replaced. It's on my list.
What is it? Which one?
It's called Replaced.
That's the one.
Yep.
Can we talk about that for a second?
That was amazing the way you said
Because
that's the one.
that came out of nowhere, and it looked insanely cool.
Oh, I
It
don't think I saw this.
looks nuts. I love the look of this game. It is pixel art graphics with like modern day lighting and
Oh,
effects put on
weird.
top of it. But also extremely like fluid animation built on top of it with the sprite work. It looks so cool. I'm extremely curious about what it is, and like my putting it on I'm interested in is purely visual. I have no idea what kind of game it even is,
Yeah,
but
same.
my goodness, does it look neat.
Yeah.
Oh, it looks good. There's parallax kind of 3D maybe or something.
Oh yeah,
scrolling
no,
in the
it's got like
foreground with
shaky.
the-
It's got like a
it's-
shaky cam. It's got like a. I mean, this is clearly pixel art done in a time where you could only do this now. This isn't like, oh, it reminds me of the SNES. It's not. We're not talking
looks
about
a little
that.
bit like pixel art. Like you took live photos and then put a pixel filter over it, and somehow, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like
Well, some of this may be captured. I mean, it may be mocapped. I don't
some
know.
of it looks too good to have been drawn. I guess is what I'm trying to say. Not too good, but too photorealistic to have been drawn, but still pixelated.
Yeah, I'd love to know more about it. There's like,
The screen's tilting too.
yeah, I know, right? It's crazy, and everything's. I don't know what you do yet, but I am so whatever this
Oh, it's
is.
gonna be on Game Pass.
Oh yeah,
Excellent.
day one. Yep. Another reason. And by the way, just to stave off emails now, don't send us a ton of emails going, "Hey guys, you didn't talk about Sony stuff, fanboys." Sony didn't do a presentation. We have no idea what they're doing. I mean, not yet. They will, and when they do, we'll talk about it. But they're currently enjoying the success of the most highly reviewed game of the year right now with that new Ratchet and Clank game. They're doing just fine. A game I wish I could play, but they didn't do a presentation. There was nothing. So I'm just saying. I'm not trying to create a straw man here. I know we'll get those emails because we always do. They weren't there. They didn't have a presentation, so we have nothing to say.
There's always more to talk about than there is time to cover it all. And we're just covering.
We're just covering what we saw. And then I just thought Game Pass as a whole was just a really good presentation. Just really knocked it home how valuable that service is. Maybe for me is Guardians of the Galaxy. John, you have maybe also.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I want to follow up. I tweeted this, but I want to say it because I believe it. Game Pass, I just want to say, restructured that press conference for me. Because a lot of these press conferences, we watch them and we go, oh yeah, I might try that. Or that looks cool, but I'll never buy it. Like the amount of times I saw a cool looking indie game and was like, well, that looks amazing. I don't have the budget to just buy every indie title that comes out, unfortunately. Like, I just can't. Game Pass makes that to where it was like watching that press conference and knowing almost every single one of these games I'm not only going to have, but I'm going to have day one, whether I want to play it or not. Like, it changes the way you view that press conference.
Right.
And what a cool thing that was to watch it and go, I'm going to get to play every single one of these instead of, am I going to get it or not?
Right. Yeah, same. And that's one of those games where, well, we don't know. I guess Guardians is not a guaranteed Game Pass thing, but is that what puts it into maybe for you? Is that what you're saying? Like, you don't know?
No, I put it in maybe because they wouldn't stop telling stupid jokes.
It would seem like a lot. I also feel that way, and you and I watched that conference together. My takeaway from it was, in theory, it's got the underpinnings of what I like. It's a semi-active combat system, which I like those. Something like you'd see in the new Final Fantasy. I know people would rather have turn-based in a lot of cases, but I like that stuff. Okay. It's an RPG. You're leveling up. You have dialogue choices, like all this stuff I normally really like. That thing will hinge on whether it can do the humor right and the dialogue and the relationships right. If it can't do that right, it's a problem. That's a problem, that game, if they can't do that. And I wasn't convinced by that by the presentation that they got any of that worked out yet. It seemed a little chatty and a little not.
It had moments, but like the thing they need to learn is that, you know, sometimes less is more when it comes to people having a smart ass quip for every word that comes out of somebody's mouth, which is what they did. And when you've got a roster that big, it's like, you know, one person says one thing and then you have to go down the list of the entire Guardians of the Galaxy to hear what their sarcastic take on the comment that just got said is. Every single time.
Yeah.
It's a bit much, but there were times where, like, I thought the moment where they throw Rocket across the chasm and you see literally all the characters just flinch when he hits the ground because they thought he'd land on his feet and he landed on his face. That's legitimately funny, but you have to have that moment paced right and you have to take your time with that sort of stuff. If they can nail that, this is a type of game we don't get a lot of, which is sort of that dialogue heavy, you know, squad based, almost quasi role playing game. Like it's something that I would absolutely love, and it turns out it is kind of a good setting for it. It just extremely distracted by the half step look into the MCU that they seem to be giving all the characters, where it's like a constant uncanny valley feeling, too many quips, and I gotta see them wheel that stuff back in before I'm sold on it.
I thought the Rocket hair or the Rocket fur, some pretty good hair tech, so I'll give them points for that. I thought overall graphically it looks nice. Again, you're not wrong about faces and Uncanny Valley and half step toward MCU. That's all true. Bo, you were irritated at the time because you were like, Wayne, these are the Deus Ex people. They should be making that game.
Yeah. Literally, some of the people I recognize from watching all the Deus Ex developer commentaries hyped for both games to come out. Seeing them, they may be very happy working on those things, I guess. I don't know. But I like to think they'd all prefer to be working on Deus Ex, and I prefer to be having a Deus Ex game than Guardians of the Galaxy. Like, you just don't... I shouldn't look down my nose at it, but it just seems to me like when you're working on a licensed IP, if you really love it, then it's probably... I'm about to say something stupid, I think.
Well, hold on a second. See, here's the thing that I think is okay to admit. The game doesn't exist without the success of those Guardians movies. And those don't exist without a serious risk being taken by Marvel and Disney to even make those things. Because Guardians is stupid. Now, I say that knowing there are plenty of great comics. It's a really hell of a thing to go read through them, and there's some good stuff in there. But they're from a time in the cosmic universe where it was going to be nearly impossible for anyone to ever make a talking raccoon in a tree good. Like, that stuff's stupid unless you're on the comic page. The movies proved it out that you could do it in a way that would work. And then you can make games based on it because now people know it. They have interest in it. There's a mainstream acceptance of what Guardians of the Galaxy is. And so the movie can't help but have some of that in there.
I would say,
right?
I would put a little footnote and say the movie worked because they acquired the right talent to get it done. I don't think you get any director in there and you're making good Guardians movies. Marvel is also has two very strong things going for it. One is this cohesion within the franchise that is unparalleled. Maybe a little bit by Star Wars, but even then, I don't think anyone can touch the level of story cohesion between movies and official properties. And the other one is they get talented people like that are the right fit almost all of the time for all of their movies. Like you look at DC and you're like, can't you do that? And it's like, no, they get Zack Snyder to make Depression Man Returns or whatever. You know, like it's like clearly bad choices can be made. We're seeing it in the DC side of the comic movie pool, in my opinion. And so that's why it just doesn't instantly translate into video game. You need the James Gunn of video games to be making a good Guardians game or a good Avengers game. Like, I think there are a lot of people excited to work on those franchises, but that doesn't mean that the company has their Dave Filonis and those champions of those franchises that really do them justice. And so,
good point.
I think Guardians might actually fare better than General Avengers. At least I liked this trailer more than I like the Avengers stuff.
Yeah.
But clearly, there was a meeting. They sat down with their Avengers game and said, yeah, this looks great. We're into this, right? Everyone else is going to like this. And it's like, nobody could raise their hand and say, like, this sucks. Like, they don't, it's just an indelible thing, right? They're probably really talented people, but I don't know. You just look at something and you say, like, this isn't going to work.
Yeah.
But games are not a high priority. Like, they need to launch them. They need to make money. They're not interested. Most of the people licensing games are not interested in the developers going, we want to be like Blizzard and make a really well polished game. They're like, no, this needs to be released pretty close to a movie release. So, get to do it. That's what it feels like.
That is one nice thing here is this is not timed with a film release at all.
Which is more doubly puzzling.
Yeah.
Again, Guardians actually looks better than Avengers. Avengers just really was unexciting.
Well, this is I've warmed to it since they showed it. At first, I was pretty skeptical, and I still am in a lot of ways, but I've warmed to it a little bit. Someone in the chat says it looks like the combat's similar to Dragon Age Inquisition. I would agree. Kind of that whole how do you manage the team? You're really just playing as Peter Quill, but you can have everybody else react in ways that you get to call the shots when it's happening in real time. If I had only one big complaint visually or aesthetically, it's that Gamora walks like she's got 4 pounds of petrified spicy peanut butter stuck in her crotch. I don't know why she walks that way.
Eidos human models are weird. Like Deus Ex, even Human Revolution, everyone's got small heads. I don't know if you notice that about the game, but everyone has just kind of smaller heads than they're supposed to have. It's weird. I'm looking at Drax. Like Drax looks like a regular guy. He doesn't look like a super muscle bound dude. Like yeah, and Gamora definitely doesn't. I don't know. I mean, it's fine. It just doesn't look like it's on purpose. It's just like, this is the best we can do.
Yeah.
we're gonna turn in this work.
And to their credit, visually, right now, the characters in the current run of the comic, they all kind of look like these characters. Like Peter Quill's hair is definitely Peter Quill right now. The goatee on
is Drax that
what's
small?
his name?
Maybe I'm just used to Dave Bautista and being gigantic Drax, but he definitely Drax here looks small.
I think Drax in the comics. I don't know, John. What would you say? He's a little less.
I mean, it's definitely open to the interpretation of who's drawing him, but I actually think Batista probably is bigger than how they typically draw.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
It might just
Drax,
be because
like, I don't know, and it's
Movie
hard to
bias
translate because in comic books everybody is just super ripped and they have kind of like the perfect build.
Yeah.
You don't see that so much in real life, so you get somebody like Batista who's just like insane and you're like, oh my gosh, he's so big, he's bigger than any of these comic book characters. I don't know if that's necessarily true, but
he's a big boy.
I kind of see what you mean, and it kind of goes back to that, you got 1 foot in the MCU. Like we're showing him as he looks in the comic books, but then he's acting and taking everything literally like the trait that we gave him in the movies. And it's like, okay, well, I get why you do that, because you want the people who have seen the movies that are like, oh, Guardians of the Galaxy's game, to feel welcomed in. But are they going to feel welcomed in if he looks completely different? It's just this odd...
You're right.
This odd thing where nobody's happy. If you're just a movie fan, they look weird. If you're just a comic fan, why are they acting this way? If you're a fan of both... Okay, well, it's neither of those things.
Yeah,
it's not 100% of either.
We didn't hear it because we were on the stream that had it stripped out. But I guess even the trailer or the demonstration had a bunch of licensed music in it, and they are definitely going to lean into that whole Peter Quill love stuff from the 70s sort of vibe, which again is another foot in the MCU while looking like it's a comic book adaptation. So you're right. Like, all of this is complicated. I don't know how else they do it, though, because they can't do straight likenesses. It's ridiculously expensive. It's cost prohibitive to do it.
Recognize that you're making a comic book thing and you give it an artistic style.
That's what I would do.
I still believe if we could go back in time, if we could give that generic ass, lame, didn't succeed. I actually thought it was kind of fun, but we're going to call it lame anyway because it launched bad and it was boring and nobody plays it. Marvel's Avengers game. And you gave that a slick, modern day cell shaded type look. If it looked like, I don't know, like the current, whatever the Dragon Ball Fighters or Fighter Z or however you pronounce it. If it had art style on top of that Marvel game, I think we would be having a different story about Marvel's Avengers. I think it would have caught people's eye. You wouldn't have had people going, well, that doesn't look like Captain America. That looks like a soccer dad just showing up and putting on Captain America cosplay. Like, you just dress it up different. You don't lean into, I want to look photorealistic, because as soon as you go photorealistic, people are going to compare it to the photorealistic thing that exists.
Yeah.
So that's my thought. You lean into the fact that it's a comic book and you go, you don't have to do like word bubbles and stuff like that.
No, just go stylized. Go
put some style to it.
Sure. Yeah. No, I agree. I agree with that. It's a fine line, but because I know what they're trying to do. They're trying to attract people who like Guardians. It's an edgier version of the MCU, so you're not looking for kids necessarily. Like, I'm sure this had to all been on the table at one point or another. The end result, we'll see. I'm kind of excited to see how it works out. I wish that was Game Pass day one. It's not. What else here? We got the you said maybe on Tiny Tina's Wonderlands. I'm feeling very miss on that. I don't think I care about that game.
I know that I have been an outspoken not fan of Borderlands on this show.
Yeah.
I just want to say I put it in the maybe because I did think that of all the Borderlands, first of all, I've played Borderlands. Yes, I turned the music and I turned the volume and voice off because I didn't want to hear that game because I hated the humor and I hated everything about what it was trying to do on that regard. But it was a very fun playing game.
Sure.
I played a lot of Borderlands 2.
Yeah, that's great.
I played enough Borderlands 2 that I bought Borderlands 3. I just don't care about the story. But when I hear about them doing their riff on D&D, I start to kind of go, maybe I would turn voices on and listen to this. And I get a little intrigued. And to me, that gives it potential. Because I do like the gameplay. I already know that. And maybe if we can get away from horse butt or whatever joke that was they made in the intro.
Butt stallion.
Butt stallion.
Stallion.
If you can have maybe a little less of that and a little, I don't know, something a little
better.
better.
Stallion's in the game in Wonderlands.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
It's a
So it's
character.
Yeah. So when they're announcing the actors, it's like Andy Samberg, and then it's like and Butt Stallion at the end.
And that's the other thing is it's got a hell of a cast too.
Yeah. I mean, 2-3 people.
So
but yeah, it's fine.
I mean, maybe it's enough for me to go. Maybe I'll give it. I'll take a look and see. Maybe
They may go wild enough with it, like if rather than do mundane guns, if they do like just crazy off the wall imagination stuff, it could be a chance that it's something we haven't seen before in another video game. And that prospect is exciting, right? So you kind of see him shoot a laser. I mean, we've seen lots of lasers in games, but really it could end up being something special. I really did like the Tiny Tina expansion pack. I hope it's not that self-referential. I know it will be on some level. But I hope there's kind of a good fantasy, like you said, as a part of it. But I think we're gonna get a lot of Butt Stallion in it.
Well, I think you're probably right. I mean, assume it's still a looter shooter at the core of it, right? Like, you're still.
What if they had like a minigun that fired claymore swords at people?
See, that's like their gun.
I'm just
that fires
saying,
guns.
like, lean into it.
They don't have to go that far. Like even Reno, in Hearthstone, Reno Jackson has a Gatling gun that just shoots rainbow lasers. Like that's enough. Like that would look spectacular on a next gen graphics thingamajiggy going nuts. Right?
I don't know.
Right,
They
John?
did it with
No?
the gun, and
Yeah.
that's the worst gun in that game.
I like the Rainbow Gatling gun.
Well, that one's okay,
Yep.
but the one in Borderlands that shoots other guns is dumb. It's a useless gun.
Oh, it
Well,
is
yeah,
dumb.
shooting other guns is dumb. I'm talking about a gun that shoots swords, giant swords. That's different.
our bad.
I mean, maybe
A gun that shoots guns is stupid. A gun that shoots swords is cool.
That's because you're
They-
a rogue and you're partial to blades.
Yeah, and sometimes I want to stab something that's very far away.
Yeah.
All right.
I mean, I think it all sounds cool. I'm into all of it, but you know, I'm just hoping they do off the wall. Like, I think there's a real opportunity. It's kind of a brand new franchise. Like, what's a Wonderland? They could define it, and it could be like a heavy metal animated, video game. Like, it has a lot of potential to be something really cool. At least the way it's sort of presented. But
Yeah.
we'll find out when we know
Yeah.
more. I guess.
yeah.
Yeah.
I'll try to keep an open mind on it. It kind of rubbed me wrong. Okay, now we have to talk about this because we can't go on with our lives without talking about this.
I'm here to kill chaos. Looks like chaos has been waiting for us. I want to kill chaos. This is the Shrine of Chaos.
And so forth. So, this Final Fantasy Origins business, or what is it? Final Fantasy Origins.
Isn't it
It's
called
called
Stranger in
Stranger
Paradise?
of Paradise Final Fantasy Origins.
Stranger of Paradise?
Yes.
Not in
You
okay.
and me are just some strangers in paradise of paradise. Like, there needs to be a joke.
Well,
Chaos.
there's the phrase "stranger in paradise" is an old phrase from, I don't know, a book or something. Like, and there's a song like you were singing.
There's a
Like,
Phil
it's
Collins song.
to have them like sidestep it and say, what is it? In paradise? What is it? Stranger
It's
of
of paradise.
paradise. Oh, it's so dumb. It's so
Well,
dumb.
it's a Japanese translation. That's how these things go.
Okay,
Like,
but what do you think about a game that's just all chaos, going after chaos, and it's just eating? I gotta eat chaos, and let's kill chaos.
So my understanding is that this is a reimagining of Final Fantasy 1, which has maybe 300 words of text story to base the whole thing on. Like, from what I remember in my NES days of the game, is there's a dude, maybe he was called Chaos. You went to kill him. I don't think you did, and then you had to travel the whole world to eventually kill him. I just don't remember there being that much dialogue. So it's no small wonder that it's just chaos here. We have to get rid of chaos. We're gonna
It's
kill
gotta
chaos.
get rid of chaos.
Are you ready to hate it even more, Scott?
Yep.
Because I'm going to take something you are already down on, and I am going to make you even more noped on this game.
Go for it.
It is a Dark Souls-like game.
Oh no, really?
Yes.
This isn't just a proper. Did they say
No.
that at the thing? Or I guess they've clarified since. This is a Dark Souls style
a
game.
demo came out. People have tried it and
Oh,
played
it was
it.
broken, wasn't it?
It was
Yeah.
broken. It was chaos when it came
Yeah, it
out.
was
You couldn't
chaos.
play it.
Yeah.
They have updated it and released it, and they've put out a pretty decent length demo. I'm gonna say, first of all, I like Dark Souls. Right now, you put Final Fantasy in front of something, you have my attention.
Yeah, you're really into it.
There
right now.
are
Yeah,
some
you're deep.
elements that seem cool, like the ability to change your job in the game, which is a big Final Fantasy thing. So it has a lot going for it. But man, that trailer couldn't have been worse and couldn't have put me more off of it. Like, I usually am rooting for games to succeed.
Yeah.
That trailer was so bad, I was like, I hope this game just bombs. Which isn't fair. I don't think I ultimately believe that. A lot of people are putting time and effort into this, and I don't think that's the mature right stance to take.
Yeah.
But my goodness, who put that trailer together and went, well, he says chaos 8 times
Yep.
in a 2-minute long trailer. I think this is the right way to go. Also, it looks like he got his costume by running through the gap really quick and was like, oh shit, I gotta go kill chaos. I
Yeah.
take this, and this. And thank God I got my dumbass sword with me. All right, let's go.
Yeah, and he looks like Eminem is my other problem.
But isn't this what Outer Wilds 2 is kind of getting at? Like, they released a trailer for it, but they didn't have any armor sets made for the main character.
I mean,
basically.
kind
Like,
of, yeah. Like, I think you could lump this in there.
And they didn't have any script either. They're like, shit, we have to write lines for this gameplay stuff. What should we write? And it's chaos. Let's kill chaos.
I'm here to kill chaos.
I just found it puzzling.
This is chaos.
I found it puzzling that this was a thing that you'd want to promote at this level. Like, it just felt really, really empty.
So this is where you ask, did you watch it before you assembled the hype reel?
Oh yeah, I watched the whole thing. I mean, I haven't played the game. I haven't played this demo.
No. I mean, the people putting the marketing together, right? Did they sit in that room and was it all silent? And they're like, "Yeah, we can publish this. This seems good." You know what I mean? Like, somebody checks these things before they go live. Like, it's not, some stuff I look at and go like, "Did you watch it before you decided to go through with it?"
Yeah.
So you all sat there and said, "Well, we're gonna try and turn our homework in and hope the teacher doesn't notice we didn't do all of the work." Like,
yeah.
That's
I thought it was a joke. Like, I was laughing. I told Scott near the end of it, I was like, "Oh,
real?
this is a parody or something." And then it went to the end. The trailer ended. And I was like, "Oh, it's not a parody."
No, they're serious.
I was waiting for like you said, I was waiting for the Outer Worlds 2. Like, haha, got you. It's something else. It's Beautiful Joe. This was a trailer in our Beautiful Joe game.
WarioWare.
Right, something, because it was so bad that I was like, this is intentional.
Yeah.
Nobody is seriously doing this.
Yeah, it seems bad. And Torek in the chat has it right. It looks like it was made 12 years ago, and this is a remaster. Like, it looked bad.
Wow.
It looked ugly. Like, ugly. That did not look like some next gen blow my mind. Holy shit, can't believe they can do this game. Final Fantasy 14 looks better than this. And that game's old now. Like, I
would say you're right. It didn't look that. It looked like PlayStation 2 or 3 era.
Yeah,
for sure.
As good as that was at its time, it ain't that anymore.
I mean, depending on gameplay, sometimes it's acceptable, but it didn't.
John, were you any level of bummed out that the Square people didn't do any 14 stuff, announcements, or just hey,
no,
you got ahead of the show.
We had a whole fan fest that was awesome, and so they didn't need to be there.
Didn't need to drag that out. Okay, fair enough. I just wondered, as a true fan of the dragons of the land of that place.
Yakuza dragons.
Yeah, Yakuza dragons. I can't wait to talk about that. All right, Bo, you had on this list Rocksmith Plus, and that surprised me because at the time you seemed a little hesitant to go all in on that, but you're a Rocksmith guy, so how do you
2013 was the last entry in the series, so even my initial reactions were quite negative. I'm happy to be getting an updated entry into this.
Yeah.
And it's early goings on. The only thing is, I like the virtual crowd. Like, if when you do well, the crowd will cheer you on, and it doesn't look like this one has it, and I like that kind of feedback.
Right.
The biggest disappointment, or my wish for a new Rocksmith, was just what we were talking about with the streaming issues, is that I never made it into a band. I never performed in front of people, but I had developed a small little routine of streaming my Rocksmith streams and playing for 20 or 30 people. I got a lot of enjoyment out of that. A small personal amount of satisfaction for the dedicated Bo watchers who wanted to see me play guitar. Mm-hmm. And it felt as much like a performance as I probably was ever going to give. And I really got a kick out of it. And I stopped because of DMCA crap.
Yeah.
And my biggest wish for a new entry into Rocksmith was that, just like we talked about here, it's like, we're going to license songs for Rocksmith, and we're going to include the fact that these can be restreamed, that permissions are provided. I want, like, that. Most users of Rocksmith may not care about that because they're practicing, but it's a fun internet thing to do. Share your Rocksmith instrument playing. It's incredible fun.
Yeah.
And there's a whole category of people who are into it. Then when the most recent DMCA stuff happened, everyone just kind of shut down. There's a few people trying to, I guess, skirt it, but it's not worth it now that they did delete all your content and stuff. So I didn't hear that
so
from
dumb.
here. That would have been that was my wish. So my disappointment was largely connected to my wish not being fulfilled.
I get you. Well, it's cool that they're going to support it. They're going to have a full service around it, so people are really into it. They can extend this out, and so I think that's all cool. I'm so annoyed that if somebody tuned into your stream, and there's you playing guitar along with a track, I don't know who thinks that anyone watching that's going to go, yeah, had my fill. Never going to pay for that track ever again in any other form. I've heard Bo perform it. That's it. That's all I needed. people
No, usually repetition means you buy it or listen to
Yeah,
it more. And
yeah.
also, all that stuff's on YouTube. Like half the albums you
get
can listen for free on YouTube anyway. Like
No, I don't
that's the
get
other
it.
thing that's sort of frustrating is like there's all kinds of pirated stuff that never goes anywhere. The Witcher soundtrack I've been listening to nonstop all week for
really
free on YouTube.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
it's
That one's approved, I think, though. You could play that anywhere.
maybe, but it's just frustrating to I don't know. It was a frustrating experience for me to find something I really, really like streaming
Yeah.
and people were watching and it isn't the biggest channel, so I would end up in the top of the views and people were dropping in. It was just a very nice experience that I had to stop and I just feel
Yeah. Also, who's at home going, ooh, Bo's playing that song. I'm going to record him doing it over this, over this 120K kilobit stream that may or may not be 100% solid the whole time, may or may not blip during it. And Bo may mess up a couple of times and may talk during it. But I'm going to go ahead and record it from here so that I've pirated this song. No one does this. They live in an imaginary.
Put it on my mixtape.
The DMCA or the whatever they're called, whatever they are, the music people. They RIAA. They live in a fantasy land. I don't know what they think the world does, but it doesn't do what they think it does. It is so mind-boggling to me.
they have the legally recognized prerogative to be doing what they're doing, and most companies do. They just choose not. Just because you have the right to something doesn't mean you must exercise it, which is exactly what happens when you can stream Blizzard games or stream any of these other games. Is like they have the right to exercise their control over the IP. They choose not to do it because it's a smart thing,
And they're not
it's
stupid.
where the world's heading,
Right.
And
They sell
some
more
people-
games I'm telling you, 100%
Yes.
of the time, 100% of the time, if somebody sees somebody playing a game, small to large, doesn't matter. The net result will be you'll sell more games, even if in a very small way it's 1 or 2 copies, or in a massive way with a huge streamer, it's thousands of copies. You are going to sell more of those games, not less, but more. To me, the math is simple. To them, they're just like, derp, derp. Like, I don't know.
I just think it's large institutional shell shock from having an entire industry ripped from you, the control over an industry ripped from you. I saw there's a place I go to eat lunch, and it's like a mom and pop place. So they have all these CDs like available from just old collections. It's like $10 for 10 CDs or whatever. Nobody buys them, but it's fun to look through them. And I remember, oh yeah, this used to be a thing. Like you couldn't even hear a song unless it was on the radio, and then you had to buy the CD or someone, taped it or, legally or whatever. Like
Right.
that whole world is gone. That whole income stream and ability to control product is just, it's gone. And they're in shock. I think they're just still in institutional shock.
It's just effed. It's so effed. All right.
Yeah.
Well, we've talked about most of these games. We're going to move forward now and do a little fun thing that we like to do every week. Today, I was thinking to myself, I wonder how Marble World is. And we're going to find out. It's a game on Steam, and we're going to have a Dear Martha related to that. So sit back and enjoy Dear Martha Steam reviews. Take it away, John.
Get ready to do this 4 times, Scott.
All right,
Just
I'm ready.
Advance notice.
I'm ready.
My dearest Martha, my review of Marble World. Love the game. I'd give it 4.5 out of 5. The reason I don't give a full 5 stars is because only for Windows. I understand that things are weird, but maybe making it available to Mac would be really cool and add more of the community to the game. Yours in this life and the next, Strixstrox.
Okay. There's number 1. Number 2.
My dearest Martha, just a follow-up on my previous review. I don't want to update my rating. It's still a 4.5 out of 5. I know this is still early access, but it would be pretty nice if something like gates were added, letting you stop all your marbles at specific areas. Another thing that would be cool would be a sort of trash block where once a marble touches it, it automatically deleted. Again, this game is still early access, so it doesn't matter for how long it takes, as long as it can be done. Yours forever, Strixstrox.
All right. Here comes another one.
My dearest Martha, Another thing is with the turns. They don't work with the auto thing. So you have to manually fix it so it can actually go the direction you want to turn. Anyway, catch you later. Yours in this life and the next, Strixtrox.
All right, there's one more, right?
Yep.
Hold on. Okay, I didn't have it ready. Let me hit this play here. Okay. Oh, wait.
My dearest... Oh,
There you go. Go ahead.
my dearest Martha. They've added a right turn. Yours in this life and the next, Strixtrox.
Tell me this is real. You didn't just make this up. Is this real?
It's 100% real.
That's amazing.
I mean,
Real
here,
reviews. Deal.
That's amazing.
There's the review.
That's incredible. I can't believe that exists. That is the greatest thing I've ever heard in my life. That was fantastic. Oh my gosh. All right. Well done on that. How'd you find that? Like you're just hunting around and you're like, oh, look at this guy that keeps talking about the same game. Like, how'd you even know to pull?
I was in I found this like 2 minutes before we went live. I was having a hard time finding Steam review. I don't know. I don't remember how I got to Marble World. I think I just was looking in casual games.
Yeah.
And I just saw this and I was like, man, this guy edited his review a lot. Oh, and he replied to his own review with updates. This would be funny.
I think it might be the best one you've done. So sometimes the last minute is the best minute.
I appreciated that it was only made for Windows, so that's weird.
Yeah.
Like,
It's somehow
it's
weird.
not weird at all. It's pretty
No.
common. Like,
Yeah. It's kind of most of the games here, by the way, are mostly made for Windows. So don't be so weird, dude. All right. Here we go. Check this out. Hey, time to talk about games we played this week. I know I talked about it a bunch last week, so I won't go into a ton of detail, but I did play a bunch more Tainted Grail. I unlocked 2 classes in that game. I think Tainted Grail is awesome. The Summoner is great. It just plays very differently. The way I'll say this is for this, combo RPG, card battler, roguelite combo thing with beautiful graphics, the thing that really sets it apart, I think, is the classes, and it feels like Dicey Dungeons for some reason. And I don't mean like the way it looks, obviously not that, not even really how it plays, but the class diversity. You know how crazy different those different Dicey Dungeons classes are? Like the robot guy does some wacky shit nobody else does, and that's how this feels so far. That Summoner couldn't be more different than the guy with the sword, and the arrow guy just unlocked the Sentinel, I think he's called. Completely different than those other two. They get totally different cards and ways of playing. That to me is a sign of longevity. And they've got in the image where you choose your character, there's like 20 dudes around that table. So I have a feeling
there's
there's
a lot
just
of classes I noticed.
yeah, there's like a nonstop thing. There's like a necromancer.
Can I ask you something? 'Cause
Yeah.
This is early access, right? So
No, it's out.
You have
It's
a better
done.
PC than it's fully out.
Yeah, it's fully out.
Okay, so you have a better PC than I do. So I don't want to judge this, but it felt like the game needs a bit of polish on the animation front. Did you
Oh,
feel
really?
that, like the blocks and hits? Because it could just be my PC.
No, it's really smooth for me.
Okay,
really.
then it's probably me. Yeah. So
that bums me out to hear that because I was hoping it would perform okay for you, but
well, I can turn the graphics down. I had it on ultra, so
yeah, it might be that. I wonder if it chops
It might
out.
be. It just felt like it was choppy, but only when animating and moving around. And I was streaming at the same time too as I did it. So.
Yeah, it's definitely not that on my end. I'm trying to think if I've had any hitches. I don't think I have. But boy, it gets real cool real soon. Like when you start unlocking dudes you find out in the world that go back to your town and become your blacksmith or become your, these different sort of Diablo town types.
It feels like Diablo Card Battler.
Oh, yeah,
Like it's as close as you're gonna get to Diablo the Card Battler version.
Very
that I
much
can
so.
tell.
Yeah, that tone is definitely there. And I'm glad I kept going because they did warn me a bunch in the beginning in the tutorial. They're like, look, you're going to die a bunch. Don't let that freak you out. Just go back out, do it again. You're going to be able to build yourself up. And if you accept that for the first few runs, it gets really fun. Like really cool stuff gets unlocked. Really great perks of starting over. If you die, you can like start over with like 20 extra health or $200 extra to spend or whatever the money is, the gold or whatever it is. And I really like it. It's got its claws in me pretty good. The game again is called Tainted Grail and is available now on Steam in full release. It was in early access for like a year, but it's out now for good. And I hope yours, I don't know, maybe fiddle with the settings because that bums me out. It's one of my
I'll
favorite
fiddle
things
with
about
settings.
it because it's beautiful, man. That game is gorgeous.
I just felt it was kind of choppy. Not on the frame rate, like idling, it was okay. It was just when I was doing things, it just felt a little. Like I played Griftlands directly before it, And
Oh,
Griftlands is just way buttery smooth and nice, and
Right.
so this game just felt like it had the 3D game jank a little bit. But
I
I
totally
thought it
see
was
what
an
you're
early
saying.
access, but I assume it's my computer.
It might be. That's good to hear about your Griftlands experience. We'll talk about that one soon too, because that game's awesome. Also awesome. Anyway, I loved it. It's really good. I also fired up Yakuza Like a Dragon, and that game's crazy and weird, and I love it so far. I'm not very far. I played just enough to sort of talk about it on the show, but it's on Game Pass now, so I downloaded it that night when they announced it and started playing it. And it is a way better looking one of these games. So definitely, you know, better hair tech and just lighting and everything looks just better. The story's nuts. It's just, I don't even know what to make of it. I haven't even gotten to the stuff where I got like a homeless guy on my team or like any of the weird, like over the top battle stuff. I'm not even there yet, but already it's just great.
It's
Yakuza games are
Yakuza
great.
through and through.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the
What
story.
I'm most impressed by, having played some Yakuza games, is that they all take place on the same game map. Like, it's literally Kamurocho, like every game. Like, I've played the first one, I've played Zero, I loaded up a different one. It's always the same map.
Yeah.
It's all like it's impressive. I'm
Yeah.
like, what other game would get away from you know? Imagine Metroid Dread being in the exact same levels as Super Metroid or something. You'd riot.
Yeah,
That's
you're
what
right.
this
You're
is.
right.
It's Kamurocho again.
You're right. I mean, it's obviously spruced up, but it's sort of the same layout, and you feel like it's immediately familiar the minute you're walking.
Well, I
around
know the
with it.
neighborhoods. I know what the Champion District is. Like, I'm like, there's a Champion District in all of them. Like, what the hell? Like,
Yeah,
it's weird.
and John is absolutely right about like the turn-based combat. I really like it. I remember you kind of praising that back when you first played it, and I love it. I really like it a lot. I like the idea of that system being overlaid on this, and also finally a Yakuza game where I can save any damn time I want. Holy shit, that took a long enough time. I don't want to go to any more phone booths, for hell's sakes. Just let me save, and this one does. You just hit pause and save. It's great. So anyway, playing that on.
I like the one mechanic I encountered in it, which I really like, is like you press A to attack, but if the guy's on the ground, you really super stomp him. Like, it's like the most dishonorable thing ever. You do critical hits.
Oh yeah.
When he's on the ground, if you press it fast enough. I was
Yeah,
like, oh, that's
and I
cool.
think it dings you on your reputation when you do that. I think there's a whole rep
does it?
system.
Oh, I
There's
didn't
a-
get that far. I did one fight, so
Yeah, you probably fought the
thought
big
that-
guy that was owed money or whatever. Is that the fight?
no. Well, it's the guy who's selling animal porn to kids.
Oh, right,
It
yeah.
the game opens up with some guy who's like, you're like, I saw you selling your bootleg video cassettes to kids. What's on there? And he's like, it's just animal porn. And he's like, what? You can't sell animal porn. And the other guy's like, we're not cops. Let him do what he wants. He's
Yeah.
like, no way. We're not letting any kids watching animal porn. What will they think of the Yakuza? And you're like, is this how crime organizations work? Like,
I know.
I'm like, okay. And then you beat him up and take his money. And
Then there's scenes
that's
where
right.
the drama gets real serious and like real like intriguing, and I don't know. Those Yakuza games are so weird, but I get it. I get why they're popular, and I'm gonna stay
shit
with
pipes.
it. Yeah, shit pipes. Like, my first fetch quest was to get a plunger for some backed up plumbing. Like, what the frick?
Yeah, how can you not like this game? I think I like it better in RPG mode because then you get the actual quests like that. It's not
Yeah.
like that so much in the other games.
Yeah, the other ones play like, I don't know. They're like a weird hybrid of GTA, and I don't know what else to compare those to. But this one just
Shenmue. It's
yeah,
like
Shenmue. Yeah, that's a fair point. These are all of them are a bit like it, especially all the side shit. But this one feels a little more. I don't know. I don't know how to explain it. There's an energy to it that really grabbed me right away, and I'm gonna.
They're
stick
definitely
with
leaning more into the humor because the Yakuza games generally have a serious tone and
Yeah.
then a silly tone, and so far it's just all silly. So
Yeah.
that's probably a good thing, I think.
it. Yeah, being pretty goofy. I also played a bunch of a game called Traveler's Rest, without getting into it too much, because it's really kind of the game I would talk about on my indie show. But it's basically like imagine not Animal Crossing is a bad example. What's the one everyone loved? The forest one. Shit.
Harvest Moon.
No, but it's like that.
Animal Crossing,
The one guy made it.
Stardew Valley.
Stardew Valley. Geez.
Yep.
I feel like
That's
we've done this like 3 or 4
We
times.
have. I do this every
Stardew
time.
Valley, you're just like it's
Stardew
not-
Valley leaves my head. I don't know why it does. It just leaves me. It leaves me. I'll remember.
Quick, Scott, what's the game that's stealth-based that Arcane makes?
Red Walkers. Oh, you mean the I'm talking about the new one. You mean the one with the one I talk about that I can never remember what the face mask? That's called. Shit. Hold on.
Say it. Say what's on your mind.
Unrenowned.
No, starts with a D.
Dishonored.
Yeah.
Almost said disowned.
You weren't sure halfway through.
I can't do it. I don't know why. Certain things just leave me. It's like me trying to. I have this thing where I mix up the names of. Oh, who is it? The two actors. No, I can't even think of anything right now. I can't think of anything right now.
Two names of mine. I don't remember the name.
But I never remember. But if you say to me, who's Mad Max? Tom Hardy. What's who used to say? Yeah, $50.
You're talking about Tom Gibson or
no?
Mel Hardy?
I freaking can't remember. I can't remember the name. Anyway, it doesn't matter. The point is.
The point is, Unrenowned is a great.
Unrenowned is an awesome name. I don't know why I do that. And I've got that game installed. I've been playing it. Like, it's right over there. And I don't know why I can't remember it. Anyway, the point
Unrenowned was closer to Undeliverable. It's definitely improved.
But the one I was looking for there was Stardew Valley. So Stardew Valley is more about, like, that life simulator with, farming and cleaning and a day cycle and kill stuff in the caves. And there's the townspeople and, a little bit of Animal Crossing, a little bit of survival, a little bit of whatever. All that stuff in one. And fishing and all that. That is a cool thing, and I'm a fan of those games. But this is, you are a tavern owner, and it is focused 100% on the tavern. It's a little pixelated style. It reminds me a lot of Stardew Valley. But you run this tavern, and the goal is to open shop and have them come in and buy your shit. And it reminds me a little bit of Moonlighter in that you got to go farm stuff out back and pick up some rocks on the way in and get some twigs and sticks for fuel. And then when you're in there, you might want to make a bunch of porridge and pre-make a bunch of these beers and have them ready so that when you open the doors, people can just come buy them. You don't have to make them while they're there. You keep their tables clean. They drop shit on the floor all the time, so you got to clean those up. So it's like this little tavern simulator that's set in like a fantasy realm. And I'm loving it. I'm just loving it. If any of that sounds like stuff you're into, Traveler's Rest is way cool. It's in early access. It's by this developer that previously did a game called Among the Stars, which was like a full-on Unreal Engine 3D space game. This is nothing like that. Very, very different game. But I like it, and I'm into it. Traveler's Rest.
This looks awesome. I might pick this up.
Yeah, you might like it too. I think it's great. It's just got enough of all those little, like, oh, you got to craft this, and you got a new recipe for that, and you got levels, and you got to remember to pet your cat every day because you're trying to build a relationship with this cat of yours, and you got to fill his water bowl after you wake up in the morning, and you go to sleep at night and save, and it's all that stuff.
Oh, yeah, definitely hard pass for me.
Doesn't sound like your jam. Yeah.
No.
I didn't think of you when I was playing it very much. I thought, Bo's probably not going to like it.
Scott, how? Oh no, you weren't thinking of me.
It's totally fine, but I don't know what those games. I really like the loop of them, and this one feels pretty good. So.
Oh, I understand the appeal for sure. I didn't. If I sounded like I was being a poo-poo head, then sorry.
Well, no, you're good. I can't wait to get to House Flipper with John because I got real questions for John. And then I also dusted off Invisible Ink again, which is one of my favorite games of all time. It holds up. It's 6 years old and feels new. I talked about that at the top of the show, and I'm gonna only bring this up because later in our emails we'll hit it again. Because we have a listener asking questions. Perfect timing. So Invisible Ink, just putting it out there. If you see it on sale or otherwise, no brainer. That game is awesome. XCOM meets Super 60 spy thriller meets awesome art style.
On my to-do list as well.
Oh, it's such a great game.
I've downloaded that game 10 times from you talking about it on the show, and I still have yet to just fire it up.
Just play it. I'll bet you get completely immersed in it.
I'm going to download it again today. I'm just doing it now.
Those guys don't know how to make a bad video game. They don't know how to do it. They try, but they can't do it. It's all their games.
Sorry, is that Clay?
They try. Yeah. That's their goal.
That's their goal is to try to fail.
They're going to make the worst game ever.
They're like, we're going to try 2D stealth. This is going to fail miserably. What a piece of garbage. Oh, crap. Mark and the Ninja is really good and one of the greatest games ever. Okay, well, moving on to the next one. And then they make another classic while they tried to blow it up, and it didn't work. They're amazing. They're amazing.
Is it Clay that makes it? Sorry.
Yes, it is Clay.
Yeah.
I think their best game. It's my favorite. All right, John, you played a bunch of Final Fantasy. Anything new to share?
Yeah, I'm to the Shadowbringers expansion, the one that everybody talks about, the big deal.
Yep.
And I get it. It turns out that's really good. In fact, the comparison I would make, honestly, I'm shocked because when I started my adventure in Shadowbringers,
Yeah.
I was like, this is what this expansion is? And it's not 1-to-1, so nobody has to worry about spoilers, but it'd be like when we first went into Warlords of Draenor.
Okay.
You know? And it's like, hey, this is the WoW expansion that's about time travel to a different reality.
Yeah.
And you're like, okay, well, it's sort of related to what we were doing, I guess, but this is very different. Except instead of just sitting in a garrison for an entire expansion, it turns out it's one of the best like RPGs. It's really good. And I don't think I'm even to the part that people freak out about, but I'm astounded at how good it is and how into the story they're telling I am.
Wow. When's the new one out? That's a lot to live up to, I guess is what I'm saying. Do you think they can do it? Think they can keep this up?
Yeah, the new one's in November, and actually I was kind of reminded of this as we kind of, as we're approaching the release of the big WoW patch, and now, in November we're going to be getting an expansion to Final Fantasy.
Yeah.
One of the main differences between WoW and Final Fantasy is they don't do a PTR for Final Fantasy. So nobody knows what's coming in this expansion.
Yeah.
There's no data mined. Here's where we're going. Here's what it is. Here's all the cutscenes. I already know what happens in 9.1 for the most part. I've seen it all. Wowhead 9.1 came out months ago. But a Final Fantasy expansion, like, it is fresh. It can't help but be fresh. You will go in completely blind. And if Shadowbringers is any indication, I have no idea where they're going to go. They go anywhere. Like, it's insane what they're willing to do with that story, and then how good it is when you get there. This expansion feels the most D&D to me, because you actually go to a place that's populated by pixies. This is going to sound weird. This is the best depiction of pixies in a video game that I've ever seen.
Really?
Pixie beef incoming.
Pixie beef.
Get ready. Because, like...
I don't think there are any pixies in ESO. We're good. We're all right.
For anybody that plays D&D and thinks about, like, the Feywilds and stuff like that, like, that it's a place where you get tricks played on you and you can't really believe your eyes, and you got to be very careful what you tell people, and, names having power over you, and all these sorts of things. All those elements are there in this section of the game, and it was so cool. I just really loved that stuff, and it feels like it's been a fantastic journey. So.
Wow. That's awesome. I'm glad to hear that.
Wow.
Any dragons of note?
No.
Okay.
Dragon.
Beef.
All right. Sounds good. All right. Now, man, I'm so glad we're getting to this. John got House Flipper, gifted by a listener, right? Andy gave it to you. Got gifted.
Yeah, listener Andy said, I want to hear John's take on these games that Scott's been playing, because he heard what I said, which was, I would love to play a game like this, but I'm not going to spend money on it.
Yeah.
And got me House Flipper.
Wow, that's very nice. Very nice of him. Now, the thing I will say is, I heard this week somebody coined a term for these games. They call them, if you're a hardcore gamer of this genre, you are a chore core, is what I've heard.
A chore core?
Yeah,
That's a great name.
It's pretty good because it's a lot about chores.
Sounds
and
like
stuff.
a Pokemon.
It kind of does. Oh, one last thing I want to say about Final Fantasy, I almost forgot. Just before we move on, real quick. I don't know if you've noticed, but I've noticed a lot of prominent-ish WoW content creators seem to be dipping their feet over there in Final Fantasy and making content for it. And some of them, like I saw Asmongold put up a big angry rant about, hey, Blizzard, you need to get your poop together because look at this game. Like, that seems significant to me that they're getting that kind of I don't know, that creators are feeling the draw and not being necessarily as 100% focused, dedicated as they have been in the past. Wow, that surprised me.
I mean, it's a real testament to how long it's been between release and patch. We now have a date for the 9.1 patch, so we'll see if it holds.
Yeah.
And what happens with those content creators. But it makes sense. We've been sitting on our thumbs. If you're a WoW player, it's been a really long time. I think Taliesin and Evitel just put out a graphic that said we are like 3 days away from the 9.0 section of the game would have encompassed the entirety of the Warlords of Draenor content release.
Yeah.
So in 3 days, it would have matched how long it took to get to the last patch of Warlords of Draenor.
Oh, wow.
So in our initial release, they did everything that they dropped. Now, that game notoriously only had 2 patches, and one of them was a selfie cam. But still,
I forgot
that's
about
shocking. That's super shocking.
That. Yeah.
So
I think you could knock that stupid Pepe
crazy.
out of the tree or something. That was the other thing. You could mess with the bird that was in
Yeah,
your
maybe
Maybe
garrison.
they're hard at work putting extra time in to fix the complaints of the base game.
Well,
Maybe
today we
that's-
got an announced release date. It was just today. It's coming out 29th.
29th, I think.
Yeah. So 9.1 is
June?
29th. Yeah, of June.
Okay.
That's a little sooner than people expected. Sooner than I thought. I mean,
Maybe
just
they're working on a follow-up MMO, and their resources are tapped.
I doubt it.
Yeah, I don't think so.
I doubt it. Maybe it could be, but I doubt it.
But anyway, House Flipper.
Yeah.
Let's talk about House
Oh
Flipper.
yeah, House Flipper. So
because-
John, what do you think of House Flipper, where you literally go into a junky old house, you get a contract, and they're like, clean it all up, fix those walls. You got these 8 things I need you to do, and you go do them, and you get paid, and then you do another one, and it's great. So you know how I feel. I think House Flipper's awesome. It's got an overwhelmingly positive review for a reason. What do you think?
I freaking love House Flipper. This
Oh,
game
damn.
is super fun. And I'm going to say a lot of this time, so this is not an accurate reflection of my playtime because I did a lot of leaving it up and running and then going and taking care of a baby.
Right.
But I launched it, I think, yesterday.
Yeah.
I think yesterday was the first time I started playing it because I was like, oh, I need to talk about more than Final Fantasy for core. I should at least play something. And this was gifted to me, so I definitely should play it.
Yeah.
I have 10 hours in that game,
Oh my
Scott.
gosh, dude. That's awesome. I think that may equal how long I've been in there total. That's incredible.
I really like it. There's something very just... Now, I will say, I am keenly aware of the fact that I am ignoring these exact same chores in my real life to do it
Oh, yeah.
in other people's fake virtual houses, and a level of depression sinks in when I think about that. But you know what helps that depression? Playing more House Flipper, because it's really chill and it makes me feel good.
Yeah,
So
and the
it's a little cycle of like, oh man, I should do more with my life. Well, I'll make myself feel better by playing House Flipper.
Yeah, more of the drug. Just hit that pump. I mean, here's the thing. It's got great progression. It's not really level based, but you're unlocking perks all the time because you're doing the task. So if you're painting a lot of walls, you're going to upgrade your paint abilities and be able to do 3 stripes at once, 4 stripes at once, use less paint out of the can. Like all these benefits just come and they come fast. Like you're just always getting better. And the progression's just great. It's like, well, now I'm moving on to a dorm room. Man, that place is a shithole, but
Oh, geez.
Yeah.
The student dorm room that I had to clean
Yeah,
was
it's
like going
gross.
through an alcohol store and just buying everything.
Yeah.
It was...
yeah.
Do they have like dead bodies and stuff? Can you buy really dilapidated homes or?
I want to
I
say
haven't
there's
seen any
yeah.
dead bodies, but there's definitely some dubious, like,
Oh yeah.
here's big red stains on the sink, and you're like, well, what the hell happened here?
Oh, definitely.
But they
there-
do-
There's some workshop stuff though, like fan made stuff. That's
Oh God, no,
yeah.
no!
oh yeah.
You can bring a blacklight into a
I mean, I don't know how
That's
I don't
great.
know how gross it gets, but I know that there is some of that in there. They got like bodies and or not bodies, but like crime scenes and stuff. So
Even some of their official stuff, like I logged in today and I wasn't really paying attention to it because I don't know, my brain just tries to ignore like, hey, play our DLC, like things that pop up, but one popped up and all of a sudden it caught me. You can go to the Dragon Ball Z Kame house and clean up the house from Dragon Ball Z, and I think it might be genuinely accurately branded or they're being very careful and cheeky about how they do it.
Oh, yeah.
But like, it's literally a Dragon Ball Z tie-in, and I was like, wow, this game's just great.
Yeah, it's great. And there's something satisfying about finishing. Like, I can't leave stuff undone. So even when they're like optional, the job doesn't even include me cleaning that hallway. It's just the rooms or whatever, or the redoing of a bedroom or whatever. I'll get out in the hall and go, I hate this wall. It's so dirty. I'm going to freaking clean it. Like, I'll do it anyway. And
well, there's times where you leave like a brick wall like exposed, and they're like, "No, that's good. You did the job." And I'm like, "No, I didn't. Bricks are exposed. We're gonna paint over the top of this. This is gonna look nice when I leave here." Or, "Hey, buy 3 chairs," and you're like, "Okay, this doesn't look symmetrical at all. I will buy a 4th chair and make it look right and do it proper." The only mechanic, there's 2 mechanics I don't really like in the game.
Okay.
I don't like vacuuming up cockroaches, which they actually they have a setting that changes cockroaches to glass if you don't like bugs.
If you got a bug thing or whatever, what's it called?
Interesting.
Not a paranoia. What do you call that?
A phobia.
Phobia. If you got some kind of bug phobia, they turn it into glass so it doesn't look like bugs. But they're hard to get. I also do not like doing that.
You just sit there with the vacuum going over it and nothing happens. It feels like forever, and then eventually it's just like, yeah, they left. You got them. It's like, but
that's weird.
Okay. I don't like that, and I don't like shoveling debris. Have you had to shovel debris yet?
I don't think I've done any debris yet. You're probably well past the part where you break up walls with a hammer now instead of a shotgun, right? Can somebody
Instead of a shotgun?
Well,
I never used a shotgun to break walls. I had a hammer from the moment they told me.
Oh, that's weird. Okay, so I don't know if this was because of the package I bought of the game, because I bought it with a bunch of DLC, so maybe it was just in there. But I want to ask actual people, people who actually tear down drywall and brick and everything, is there ever a time where you take a shotgun to a wall and that's how you start it?
Heavens no. Oh my god, like you get a hammer or you get a really big machine with a big...
That's what I thought.
You've seen those big wrecking ball machines, right?
Yeah. That's how I came in. I came in like a wrecking ball. But no, like I that's how I did it for the first, until I upgraded it, and it was like, okay, now you can have this big giant sledgehammer. And I was like, oh, okay, that seems like it's getting more of the wall. But in the beginning, I'm shooting walls.
Shotgun.
Yeah. It's like point blank shotgun. It was awesome.
I'd like to see this TV show, this like reality show of people tearing down houses, but they're like hillbillies with shotguns and like, let's get that wall down.
I thought it was a little weird, but
look, it is not the most realistic game in the whole wide world. You basically use a generic ass broom and then eventually a mop to clean literally everything. It's like, oh, somebody graffitied the wall. You're like, well, let me just rub my broom on it for a second. Yep, there goes the graffiti. It's gone. But not to the shotgun level with destroying walls. I
just found out why. And now I'm sad. It was an April Fool's joke in the game, and if you played it during the April Fool's event, you got the shotgun.
Oh, you got trolled because you
okay.
didn't.
Yeah,
you got trolled.
I didn't know that. Well, I mean, I just used it, and it was great. It did the job, but I didn't realize that explains it, because I was playing this game a lot in April. So I think that's what happened. I don't know if they take those out after an event. That's the other thing. The game has events all year. It has all kinds of weird Halloween stuff, and got to clean up a big giant Halloween party and all sort of thing. It's just stupid addicting. I don't know what it is about these kind of games. And, you guys heard me talk about it. I got really hooked on the whole, whatever this subgenre is. And I'm really glad to hear that John understands now.
I totally get it. Yeah. I think part of what makes it so good is it doesn't overcomplicate it too much. Some of the processes are a little involved. Like, you do have to get paint on the paintbrush, and then you can start painting, and it will run out, and you'll have to get more paint on the paintbrush. But like, you don't have to okay, I have to get my mop, and I have to put it in the water, and I have to go and I have to mop, and then I have to make sure it doesn't dribble on the floor, and I have to make sure I don't have to walk through the water. Like, it walks that line of like, it's gonna be a chore, but it's not gonna be too much,
right,
to really put you off of doing it. And I think that's the part that has nailed it for me, because a lot of the other ones that are in this kind of genre are just too complicated or too hard to control. And I wind up fighting the controls or the mechanics of the game, and it's like, well, this isn't gonna this isn't gonna relax me, which is what this game does, which is why I like it.
Totally agree. They don't make things like moving stuff around or using the store tablet where the thing just appears when you buy it. Like they gamify that stuff in a way that's just fun and breezy and doesn't get in the way. Then they gamify the things that are like work, and then they feel like less work because they're gamified. And then you also know even the ones like wallpaper's a pain, but you know the XP is good for it, right? So you know that you're going to get, like, the risk reward is really strong with it. And it's just such a dumb idea that works. I don't know. Like, I'm not surprised it had the success it did, because it just really is a really good one of those. I think probably the best of those kinds of games. The best I've played.
Although it's also very clearly, I think, European in its make. Because I don't know, maybe it's just an Arizona thing, like how people outside of here don't know what a cheese crisp is. But like, I've installed a lot of radiators, and I've never seen a radiator in my life. Yeah, every house I go into, they're like, "Well, you better install a radiator." I'm like, I don't even know what a radiator really. I do know what it is, but I've never seen one. Yet for some reason, it is critical to have in every single damn room of a house that I go in. And then they throw in like the bathroom towel radiator, which that I'd never heard of. So I don't know if that's like my part of America thing, or if that's a American thing and that like a European thing. But yeah, I don't know what the fascination is with radiators.
And what's weird is I really enjoy those mini games are fun, like the putting a toilet in or a shower in, or these a radiator like you mentioned. It's simple. It's not like they're gone too crazy, or fixing an outlet. That's all horrible in real life. I don't want to do any of that. But in here, it's like, squeak, 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 squeak. Okay, take that screw off, move this over thing. Okay, put that bar in. I don't know. There's something really satisfying about it. So I think it's to their credit that they just made mechanics that are not too crazy and anybody can play. And I don't know. It's a weird thing, man. House Flipper, 10 out of 10.
I like that the chat's giving me shit for not knowing what a radiator is. Guys, it was 116 degrees here yesterday.
Yeah.
It's a foreign concept to me, okay?
Yeah, radiators, they don't have heaters the way that the rest of the world does. Plus, you guys, I mean, AC is a science in Phoenix. Like, it's a special level of... You think you have cool AC in the South, go to Phoenix, you're going to find technology well beyond your typical. It's insane. Because they have to survive in hellscapes. That's what they do. Yeah. No one should live in Arizona. Is what we're saying. Nobody should. I don't mean they shouldn't live there because it's not cool to live there. I'm saying it's too hot for a human being to survive without human intervention. And thankfully they have that. I also like selling shit. There's that selling gun. So if you have a bunch of stuff you can just sell in the room, it's so satisfying just to vacuum it up with a selling gun and have it go blip, 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 and let's watch the money just count up. It's great. I mean,
except when you try to sell stuff they don't want you to sell, and then your character has the real introspective, I don't want to make money this way. Like, I do. Zap that stuff with your selling gun. Yeah. Sell it.
Yeah. There's some codes and cheats and stuff. I haven't used any of them, but apparently you can just sell everything with some codes. Anyway, House Flipper. Awesome. Thanks, Andy, for sending that to him. I feel vindicated somehow, and I appreciate it. All right, Bo. Finished up. I thought you finished Cyberpunk last week. No, this week. I don't remember now.
Oh, maybe.
I think it's because he said it. I
was on the final mission last week.
Oh,
I was on the
that's
final
what it was.
Mission.
Okay.
So I'm fully done now, and I might not talk about it depending on if you guys want to play it. It'd be much easier to talk about sans spoilers with you guys playing it.
I'm definitely going to play it.
But I can give some impressions, although my impressions might flavor your playthrough, so I might just skip it until one of you are ready to talk about it. But
Did you guys notice it's back on the Sony store for pre-order right now?
Yeah, there's a new patch that came out today, fixing more bugs because it's coming back to PS4, so there's a pre-patch for it.
Must have been enough, I guess, for people.
Yeah, I don't know if I should say it. Let's just say, I think now having seen the whole game, it's borderline disappointing at this point.
Oh,
and I was really jazzed for it, but taking the picture of the whole, I still really like the game. I still really respect it. It's just it's not science fiction. Like there's a cyberpunk setting. There's very cool moments. There's neat things in there they touch on. It's definitely not a satisfying conclusion, I guess, to the story. So I'd be interested to hear people's takes. There's also several endings. So if you're not aware of that, but it's disappointing, I think, how they implemented them, because it's not. I'll just say this: in the game, there are 3 meters in the pause screen that fill up as you go that you would think would have an impact on the ending that don't. So know that now. So don't stress about them. You don't have to fill them up. They're pretty much meaningless as far as I can tell. I don't know the actual super intricate mechanics, but I'll say this: I ended my game early, so my canonical game ended before most endings do. I don't know if you want to know about that ending, so you can avoid it, because it's definitely not the best one.
I don't mind, because it's not going to bug me, and it's going to be a long time before I potentially finish. So
Scott, I'm willing to talk about one ending, because you may want to avoid it.
Go for it. Chat room, if you don't want to hear this, then, or anyone at home, you can pause.
It's spoiler time.
Yeah.
In the ending I chose, before I go on the final mission of the thing that we're prepping for, that's supposed to be superly badass and all that.
Yeah.
You have to choose between going in as yourself or going in as letting Keanu take the keys, right?
Yeah.
And then there's some other choices involved. It's a lot more elaborate, the choice tree, so I'm not spoiling much.
Yeah.
But there is an option where you can just kill yourself. And please, suicide is not a funny thing. Call the suicide line if you have somebody you care about, blah, 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 just in case I make some jokes about it. But you literally are like, what if I just end it all? And the best part is Keanu sits down next to you and he goes, you know what, man, you're right. I think you should kill yourself. And they're all at peace with it. And then you kill yourself. Wow. And that's the end of the game. And then everyone in the game messages you to say, you know, some people are mad that you killed yourself and some people are just sad. And it's so depressing. And I'm like, this is awful. Like, and the game just ends early, rolls credits, and
but not you're saying not effectively so. Like that's, I could see
it was moving. Yeah. I felt like horrible. Like that part, I felt horrible about.
Yeah.
The disappointing has to do with the rest. So I think actually this was a highlight in a not so great way, but it was done. It was moving. I will say that.
Okay.
It was the most moving of all the endings because suicide is a serious thing. And I was like, oh, all these people were like, you know, doing the typical voice acted really well. Like, I'm so mad at you, but you're so selfish. Why did you do, you know, all that stuff. It was like, I was like, whoa, man, this is a real bad trip here. Yeah. I didn't think that was going to happen. I thought it was just a cool decision. You know, it was going to be like, you know, kill yourself, but really then some badass thing happens. Right. And just know that that's a literal option in there that will end your game early and depress the hell out of you.
Wow.
And so that's my canonical end because that's the one I picked on my natural playthrough.
Oh, wow, Bo.
So then my other endings were just let me see what else happens.
Yeah.
And there's a lot more that happens if you don't end it early, but I was just shocked that it was shocking the way they dramatized you talking to Keanu Reeves and Keanu Reeves literally going like, you know what, buddy, I think it is a good I was like, oh my God, really?
Wow.
You know, but he's a Jim Morrison, Jimi Hendrix, Kurt Cobain, live hard, die young, you know, and he just happens to come back from the dead in the form of an engram in your brain. So his character embodies those things. So when you actually go to make that decision for yourself, he's on board with it. He's not. I don't know if the relationship meter has to do with whether he talks you out of it or not, but I certainly had the option to. So, yeah.
That seems like I assume other endings. I mean, did you go back and
other endings are more traditional?
Okay.
I guess what I want to say, I mean, it's okay to say this. I'm going to be very non-specific, but the last mission is easy as pie, no matter what you pick. I've done a lot of the different endings. You know how games scale up in difficulty and challenge? This
usually.
Like scales down in difficulty and challenge as it goes. So it's like, it's this crazy last mission. I use my mind powers to kill everything in every level, and it's kind of short, I found. I kill everything, and I'm at the end of the game. And the ending is okay. The endings are satisfying. But the big build up to like, we're going up against the big bad guy, and I literally just like walk through it like it's nothing. Like the gameplay in this game, it's really, I've said Witcher doesn't have good gameplay, and I'm now fully behind Cyberpunk having not very fun gameplay overall at all. You know, like,
oh wow,
the stealth stuff is fun, and if you're role playing it, you can make fun with it. But as soon as there's no challenge, there's never a challenge anywhere. At least when you level up something. So, yeah, that's my experience.
I appreciate the long form exposure to this through you in your eyes because you gave it.
Deus Ex is the superior science fiction, I guess.
I wish they'd make more of those, man. So cool. Adam Jensen, where are you when we need you most? You played Mass Effect Legendary Edition. You said maybe some regrets. Interesting.
Yeah, so I dropped $80 for this.
Oh!
Right?
80 Canadian, which is...
Because I got swept up. You guys talked about it for weeks, and it wasn't a bad thing, but I played it, and I forgot how unpopulated with items this game is. Like, it's... the space station, the futuristic cool space station is just, like, gray walls everywhere, and, like, there's a desk and a single laptop on it or something. I was like, oh no, even though it's remastered, it's...
Well, it's definitely
that's
more of a Mass Effect 1 problem than a 2 and beyond problem. Like I noticed that as well. Once I got to 2, I was like, oh wow, yeah, this place is hopping now. There's aliens everywhere, and the city's got all kinds of cool shit going on.
I figure as much. I'm gonna stick with it, but it's a little bittersweet. Like the game, I'm like, oh, it's the game I remember. I like this feeling, but also you can tell. I guess having just played Cyberpunk, that the writing is very stodgy and not fluid like it is in Cyberpunk or Witcher. Like it's just how far we've come. It's okay. I was like, oh, maybe I didn't want to play this right now. But sure. It's because what ended up happening which is the next game on my list, is I bought Witcher on Xbox for like $15. I paid $80 for Mass Effect, but then after playing Cyberpunk, I was like, I wanted to see how this compared to Witcher, and I felt like playing it on my Xbox. It was on sale for $15, so I'm like, I could have just bought Witcher and skipped Mass Effect for now, considering how much I've played Witcher, which I am enjoying again, although I don't have much to say. But
how's they heard they updated it for frame rate and stuff. Does it feel good and look good?
It looks great. It's super good. The only thing they didn't fix is how awkwardly Geralt moves around. Like sometimes he runs around and you're like, I don't want him to run, and he's just jittery, and you have a hard time controlling him.
He's always been weird. Yeah, he's just weird.
Yeah.
Have you tried both of the control options? I don't think either one solves it, but there is I don't remember the name of it, but a lot of people complained with how Geralt controlled by default, and they came up with an alternate control scheme for him. And I don't remember what's on by default, but I would go into your options and see if you can find something as far as like movement control or something to that effect, and see if it says original or alternate or anything like that, and try it. Again, it's not going to fix it. It's not going to change it night to day, but there is a better controlling version.
Yeah, I'll
play around with it then. Yeah,
I assume that's still in there. I always thought it was funny they kept the old one because the old one was universally hated, but
it's just like he'll start running when you don't want him to, and you're trying not to tap the controller the whole way, and then he'll jerk around as you try to adjust it. He's going all over the place. Right. I just want to loot that box, like he's just all over.
It's a weird thing, man. That game is so lush and detailed, and so I don't know, well animated. Otherwise, I don't know why they made him move so dumb. I don't get it. It's
just in most of the town areas, it's actually cooler to walk at a slower pace because you feel like you're part of it. Like it's actually one of the few games I don't like running around the levels in because it just doesn't make sense to do it that way.
Right.
I just want to do that in combat. But anyways, it's fine. I'm playing that $15 purchase more than the Mass Effect right now, which is why I'm like, why did I spend $80 on Mass Effect when I want to play Witcher? Ugh. Yeah. But it'll probably be on Game Pass by the time I get to it, and I'll feel really bad.
Well, just so you know, they will give you Microsoft offers. They're like Steam. They'll give you refunds for.
I should check 2 hours. On that. I might be beyond the. I think I still put in 10 hours. I'm on the Citadel right now. Yeah,
never mind. You're now the longest. I'm.
I spent 3 hours in the character creator.
Yeah. You spent more than I was just gonna say. You and John are that way. You're gonna spend more time in that character creator than you are in the game. So.
I've tried to make a guy that looks like me, that's close but not quite. He's like, I think, an ugly B-movie version of me. Wow. I'll have to share it with you so you can see.
I'd love to see it.
I don't have it here. And awesome. I played a bunch of the card battlers, which is the most exciting thing I'm talking about because I want to get back to playing these.
So so you played Griftlands and you wrote great. Thronebreaker, great. Tainted Grail, great, needs lots of polish, but that may be your computer you're saying.
That might be my PC. That was my impression. I enjoyed all of them. The one that was Griftlands, just 30-second review. It looks great. The card art's great. Everything about the package is perfect, beautiful.
Yeah.
it is overwhelmingly like everything is a keyword from another game in their own. Like instead of enters the battlefield, it's some other word. Like because these things get trademarked in the card gaming world, they got to use, I guess, new names to feel fresh and original. And my brain felt overwhelmed with like, what does this do? What does that do? What is this? Oh my god! Like, and to be fair, I don't know if I skipped the tutorial, but I like to go into the deep end, but I was very overwhelmed.
Yeah, where it really gets tricky, like the actual battle cards, not such a problem. Like they kind of just are what they are. But the argument cards, because the game's got these two modes, right? You argue with people, or have conversations, and then those are basically a kind of battle of their own. And those are using terms and methodology that I still haven't wrapped my head around. I really don't get all of it.
Yeah, it's kind of two sets of lingo. You have the card lingo for Griftlands as a game, but then you also have the card lingo for battling versus argument combat, and they're separate as well.
Yeah, which is really
so it's a lot, but I liked it. Like it wasn't a turnoff. It was just I was really overwhelmed. That was a feeling I had. So if that kind of thing is not in your wheelhouse, I wouldn't start with Griftlands. Yeah. If you have never played TCGs and want to get into them, I think you might feel a little overwhelmed. Yeah. Thronebreaker, which is a game I bought 3 or 4 years ago, or whenever it launched. Part of the reason that I never played it was because I never finished Witcher, and I was like worried about spoilers.
Right.
So I was like, I looked it up. I was like, F it. Like, I'm gonna play Witcher, but I'm also just gonna try Thronebreaker because Gwent is fun. And so far, that's been my favorite of the batch, just because it's AAA studio, it's well polished. Like
it's good, yeah. I like Thronebreaker.
It's really good. So that might be what I give my priority to, but I want to get to all of them. It's super amazing. Oh my god! Like I'm most excited to play Thronebreaker.
Next, the cool thing about Thronebreaker is they spared no expense on like voice acting, and I don't know if it's really cinematic for the kind of game it is.
Very well polished package. And again, I went from Tainted Grail to Thronebreaker, so it's kind of unfair. It also runs good on a lot of systems where a smaller studio might not optimize for lower tech necessarily.
It's a good point. Yeah.
So the last one was Tainted Grail, and I did enjoy what I played. Like that's a lot of potential there, but I think it's really good so far. At least compared to Slay the Spire. I got through the tutorial. The first monster they throw at you has like 2,000 health.
They tried to see. That's what I was saying. They're trying to make you go, oh, I'm not going to live very long, so I'm going to learn some things, and then I'm dead. They want you in the mood to die. And I think it's to the game's credit, but they also know that that's a brain block for a lot of players, especially if you're new to the genre or new to roguelikes in general. You don't know that you're going to die so much. And that game really feeds it to you early on. But once you accept it, it's like, all right, cool. Another run. Let's go. Oh, awesome. I unlocked this. All right, next time. Ooh, I got the blacksmith. Okay, cool. Ooh, I lasted 5 more fights this time, or, whatever.
They threw some hard stuff. Like, they really don't. Because my second battle on my first run was this guy who summons totems.
Yeah.
And the totems were healing per turn more damage than I could put out with any of my cards. Like, I'm like, this is literally unbeatable. Like, I went as long as I could, but I was like, this is not fair.
Yeah.
But that's how these games go. You die, you get more powerful, you go again.
Yeah, and you'll get some perks next time that will be like, oh, well, I can rip through that totem lady this time or whatever. And it definitely has some of that stuff. There's also an easy mode for players who just want to kind of have the story and not butt up against it. But I've just been doing the harder
I think
mode.
I might have picked the hardest difficulty.
You might have. I did too. Well, there's
that
only
might
2.
Explain why everyone had a deep health pool.
I think there's only 2 though. So there's to start with. There's easy mode for people that just want the RPG, experience. Then there's new run or the common run, which starts at difficulty 1, but that's where you're locked. You unlock other higher difficulties later, but it's the default hard play.
I was thinking of Thronebreaker then. I started on hardest mode.
Oh, gotcha.
So far it was easy. Yeah, they're all blending together.
Yeah, they all had cards. They all had fights.
They all had cards, difficulty levels. The tutorials were an hour each. Like that was the other thing too. Is I ran my brain. Every game has different terms for their cards, so I've got 3 different sets of card game rules all jumbled in there last night. It's pretty funny.
It's pretty cool. Chat room, Kelnanaz says, once you get your head around the negotiations in Griftlands, meaning the argument stuff, it opens up a lot of different gameplay in the story. Yeah, it does seem like the depth, the 3 games we're describing today, the depth might be Griftlands. That might be where the real deep potential is. Yeah. But it is a little off-putting if you've never played one of these.
It seems like the most mechanically complex.
Yeah.
And I would say so far of all the games, Tainted Grail seems the least mechanically complex in that it's very familiar ideas: armor, damage, attack, defend.
Yeah, for sure.
Like so far.
Yeah, for sure. It's pretty straightforward stuff, and I like it about that because it spends its time with RPG elements that these other games don't as much. Like, there's really cool story going on. Although Griftlands has an amazing story, so I don't know.
There's something about the battles resolving quickly that's appealing. Like that is a sort of appeal about Slay the Spires, that a lot of the encounters don't take that long. Where I found in Griftlands, I was like tanking on decisions about what to do, and same with even Thronebreaker. Gwent is like a pretty exact game where you have to get the right score and plan the right moves, and if you screw up, you basically lose at some points.
Right.
You know, like it can be very tactical. So the game the story element stretched on, and the game stretched on. Where I found Tainted Grail was like, okay, attack, defend. Okay, beat you, attack, defend.
Yeah,
And that's appealing to have shorter combat sessions.
yeah, I like them shorter. Whereas Griftlands also has amazing aesthetics and storytelling. So it's just kind of grabbing you in different ways. And I like how all these like companies are like, we're making a Slay the Spire, but we're doing our own twist. I think all these twists are really good and interesting. I thought Monster Train was rad for its own weird twists. There's another one out by the Magic the Gathering creator guy called, it just happened today. What's it called?
Oh, really?
Rogue Book,
shit.
I think. Rogue Book? Yeah.
Well, there's Rogue Lords, which is not out yet, I don't
No.
think. But
What is it called?
Rogue
I think
Book?
I actually remembered
Richard
it.
Garfield did one of these. That's worthy of attention. Oh my
Yeah,
god!
it's also the Fey
Rogue Book.
Oh, there it is, Rogue Book. By the Fairy or the Faeria
Oh, it's
devs
out.
and Garfield. It's out today, like this week.
Uh,
Yeah, that could be interesting. I haven't looked at
I'm gonna
reviews
wishlist
or
it. I
anything.
don't have the cash for it right
Because
now. But
on the other hand, he also helped make that Dota game, the Dota card game that failed. So I don't want to.
well, yeah, but I've Beyond Magic the Gathering, I've played 2 of his board games. I think King of Tokyo is one of them. Great game.
Yeah,
And Robo Rally, awesome creative game as well. Overall, I would put the blame on Valve for what's that game called? Artifact.
Artifact.
Not
yeah.
Richard Garfield. Yeah, I get the sense they brought him on for consultation and asked if they could use the name in the product to help sell it. I think that's what happened there. But most of the time, he's making his own kind of, he's A to Z making his stuff. So I
this
don't know.
this is an interesting review. Ludo Kukleter says, probably the best fully released roguelike deck builder since Monster Train. I love that it's not just Slay the Spire combat, but they added a somewhat unique positional element by having you switch your heroes between the back and front rows for all sorts of tactical effects. The overworld exploration part feels very rewarding and is varied and is interesting, blah blah blah. Yeah, it seems like good vibe so
it's
far.
from the Ferraria guys made this too.
Yeah,
Okay.
same. The Ferraria guys and then him. However you say that game. I
Okay,
don't know.
so the one thing is, like, if you see the combat animations in this, it does look like Slay the Spire, but with better graphics.
Yeah, with actual art, not stick people.
Yeah, like the art just looks, I don't know, more fantastical. It gives more of an impression. Like, but it does definitely still look like a Slay the Spire style. Like, I think, yeah, I don't know. I want to play this post haste.
Yeah, I do
think it could
too.
be
It's
really
also
good.
it looks like the art style is a step up from even Monster Train, which also was similar to that. The animation just looks a little better. I think it looks really cool. I kind of want to play it. $24.99 on Steam. I wonder if I can get a code for that. I'll try. All right. All right. Where were we here? That's it. That's games we played. And
I had one more thing to say. Sorry.
yeah, go ahead.
I also bought Trials of Fire. I just didn't get a chance to play it.
Oh,
yet,
I hear
but
that's good also.
I'll be reviewing that soon too.
Wait, maybe I. Oh yeah, I know that one. Yeah, that one's supposed to be.
It's like a D&D card deck. It's like a deck builder and a D&D session.
Yeah, there's like a
all
whole
in
board,
one
right, and a
session.
grid, and
The grid,
movement
there's
and
like
everything.
story and decision making, like all of them, but it just seems to lean into the tabletop aesthetic. Like it's like playing on a D&D map
Yeah.
as you play the cards. It's
Yeah.
less graphical, I guess. But
sure. Yeah, it's
looks
pretty
cool.
cool. Watch for more on that coming soon. Okay, we have one of these.
That's a good question.
Quick email from a listener. This is, where is it here? Will wrote in. He sent this to talktothecore@gmail.com. That's the email address you should all keep and use and whatever, because we'd love to hear from you. He says, regarding Invisible Ink versus Ink, and he's spelling it INK versus INC. The actual name of the game is INC. He says, hey, Scott, John, and Bo. I thought you guys might find the story amusing and a halfway decent prompt for a discussion. I've been listening to Scott talk about how much he likes Invisible Ink for the last couple of years across a range of podcasts. However, due to a quirk in my brain, I have been hearing it as Invisible INK. Like, that's the whole play on words here.
Oh, that is the play on words.
That's the play on words. Because it's in the thing, Invisible Ink is a corporation of sneaky spies that get hired to do dirt, that nobody else wants to do.
Yeah, it's a very clever pun.
Yeah, it's a great name.
Very good.
But it's INC. Anyway, he says, in imagining a Limbo-esque game that somehow merges stealth and ink into a high concept, side-scrolly way. And since I'm less excited about that idea than John is about the Limbo follow-up game, I never looked into it until this morning when I noticed Scott's tweet about Invisible INC. So, after I got past feeling like a moron, I picked it up on Steam because it looked awesome. My question for you guys is this. Have you ever avoided a game you ultimately came to enjoy because you completely misunderstood what it was at first? Thanks for taking the time to read this. And if you do,
a good question.
Thanks regardless. Thanks for all you do in your podcasting. Core is the highlight of my podcast listening week. Take care. Well, thank you, Will. It's very nice of you to say. So, yeah, all the time. I'm trying to think of a recent one.
I have one that's kind of the reverse. It was a weird case of I was a kid on the playground talking to another kid, and we were both excited we both loved JRPGs.
Yeah.
And it was a case of I had bought one game and he had bought another game, and we were just wanting to talk about the games we played, which were two separate games, but I accidentally assumed was the same game, which was I had bought Chrono Trigger, he had bought Breath of Fire 2. We were sitting there, and I thought he was telling me about all this fantastic stuff that I was going to do in Chrono Trigger.
Yeah.
And I was like, wow, this game really goes to some weird places. He's like, yeah, there's one spot where you're going through an arena and they're going to cook you and they're going to try and eat you. And I was like, that thematically doesn't really match up with what I've done so far, but this is interesting. All right. And then eventually I figured out, yes, I was looking at the wrong game, but it did get me to buy Breath of Fire 2, which is a game I like very much.
Yeah. I will say for me, it was an entire genre. And it's funny because it's related to this conversation. I used to, in the 90s, really piss on anytime anybody said turn-based anything. If you said, hey, have you played Heroes of Might and Magic 3? I'd say, lame. The world's all about real-time, baby. You played StarCraft? Well, get out of here because the future is real-time, not turn-based. This is old. Bleh. Like, I just poo-pooed on turn-based concepts. RPGs, tactics games, didn't matter. I acted like it was all poop. I was wrong. And it's one of my favorite genres now, like across the board, and has been for a very long time. But it took me, I don't know, I can't remember what the game was that turned me. Something turned me, and I went, I'm never not playing this again. And I can't believe I was such a poop about it. It may have been, oh geez, it might have been Age of Wonders, which is kind of similar to
that would make sense. Yeah. That or
that.
There was Rise of Nations, which I think was a turn-based game that I think got a lot of people into
I
it.
thought that was RTS. I could be wrong. But anyway, but yeah, like a game turned me on to it and I went, "Oh, I get it now." And not only do I get it, I prefer it. And now I want nothing to do with RTS games. They're not interesting to me at all. Outside of a MOBA like Heroes, and even then I'm picky. I'd much rather play XCOM, Gears Tactics, almost anything in that setting. And we talked earlier about not Metal Gear, Metal Slug, coming in that form or whatever. That's so much more interesting to me than Metal Slug ever was. So I had a complete turnaround on that kind of game. Now, some of you are going, Scott, what about your hatred of tower defense? No, I know I hate that. I'm not confused there. I haven't just put it off to the side and said I'm never going to try it. I've tried plenty, and I hate it every time. So don't be coming at me with your with your tower defense arguments. Bo,
I'm looking at it. Mine, it might have been Rise of Nations. It was you're right. It was RTS, but it had turn-based elements, like an overarching turn-based top level to it. And I think that might have been the first time I ever tried it because I was the exact same as you. So
interesting. Yeah, I played a bunch of Rise of Nations, and maybe that's what I'm thinking of. You might be right. because I did play a bunch of that. But there was a time where I was just like, no, the new world is RTS. That's the whole point. Computers can now do this in real time. We don't have to wait for each other. I can't believe I used to think that way. There's so much power and magic in games. D&D, for example. Like, no one wants to play real-time D&D. I mean, unless you're playing an action, you know, like Diablo, that is kind of real-time D&D. But you know what I mean? Like, as much as I love that, I love action RPGs, I love all that stuff, I'd much rather play a game where I'm like, all right, what do we got? Okay, that guy just popped this, I need to do this. These card games Bo was just talking about, it's all my jam now. So, yeah, I was wrong. And I'll be happy to admit it.
What's yours, Bo?
Yeah, Bo, what'd you say?
I don't know. I'm having a hard time thinking about that. I tend to know about games, and then I guess he said games that we're wrong about.
Like
right, like that, like we like, oh, that looks like crap, and then we play it, and we're like, oh my god, it's the best thing ever. Is that
like if you or that you got
avoided
confused? In his case, he avoided it because he thought it was something totally different, and then you found out later. Yeah,
yeah, I don't know about different, but I know I avoided World of Warcraft for the longest time. Like,
oh, interesting.
That's the example that comes to mind because I played PlanetSide, and people were leaving to go play World of Warcraft at the time. If you were into another MMO and World of Warcraft came out and everyone was going to play it, it was irritating. Like, because, you know, you like spend time in this game, you know. So I remember I didn't really have a hate on for it, but like I remember being like, well, I don't play World of Warcraft. Like I play PlanetSide.
Yeah.
And then I ended up playing it and was like, oh my god, this game's really fun. You know, I'm hanging out in Razor Hill or whatever and just killing things and getting loot, and I'm like, oh my god, why didn't I play this sooner? It seems like a lot of fun. Yeah. So I definitely knew I avoided it, but it's one of those things that people, I don't know if it happens as much in 2021, but I remember it being a thing where people were pretty loyal to the game worlds they were sub to and spent all their time in.
Oh, so. Yeah. Even like throwaway action stuff. If you were either a Quake guy or you were an Unreal guy and you fought with the other side, you were very tribalistic about that. Yeah. So I think age and maturity, that changes it. I know it changed for me a lot in gaming with the kinds of things I accept now. And
also, if your game fails, like PlanetSide went from being very massive to not so massive. So it was, you know, you end up moving, right? Yeah. Wherever the hot spot is. Sure. Like people are now looking at Final Fantasy 14, I guess.
That seems to be the jam at the moment. Look at John, but he's the tip of the spear, baby, leading all those lemmings into the fire. It's good. It's good to watch. It's a good game. Like whatever. Like if you'd have told me 5 years ago, guess what? That new Final Fantasy game might actually topple WoW's numbers in 2021. I probably wouldn't have believed you. But they're doing it by all accounts, as best we can tell, because no one shows numbers anymore. But they seem to be the du jour at the moment.
They definitely have a lot of goodwill in the public,
for sure.
And you know, I'm sure anyone in that situation where they were previously in goodwill and now no longer that, it's probably not something that's going to last forever. So they should enjoy their heyday while they can.
Shave Maddox makes the perfect comparison because basically what the emailer said. He says, for the longest time, I assumed that World of Warcraft was just another RTS. So that's kind of more like what this guy ran into.
Yeah.
And why not? Like, it's always been an RTS, and if you're not interested in a way that's, you know, going to teach you anything else about it, I think that's a perfectly normal, you know, assumption.
I think the most shocking thing about Warcraft was to find out how action the combat was, right? Like pushing the hotkeys and stuff. Because most MMOs would be Final Fantasy 11 was pick your move.
Yeah, I
saw Ultima Online. I didn't play much of it. I didn't really play the other ones, but I sort of had this sense where fighting was mainly auto attacks and stuff. And anyways, it felt, you know, there was a moment in time where I remember thinking World of Warcraft feels like Diablo, but just your damage really sucks.
Yeah.
So you have to fight things one at a time, but it felt like I'm pushing buttons and doing things. It was really great at the time.
Yeah.
Is this RuneScape?
No, this is Ultima Online. You said that, and I just I got to look at that again.
I mean, the MMO I played the most for PlanetSide was probably Tibia, which is a German cheap thing that I think is still running.
Yeah.
But I would actually, that was at a time when internet was new. I was on a 486 or something, or maybe a Pentium 1. And the concept of being in a general chat was new. So I was like socializing a whole bunch in the chat. It was mainly to get on general chat.
Yeah.
And just talk to strangers and when that kind of thing was new, now we have Twitch streams of the waterfall of actual garbage, so it's all gone to crap. But Tibia was my first MMO.
I forgot about Tibia. My first one was Anarchy Online. It's the first one I ever played. And then my second
first
was
one,
so crappy.
My first one was Asheron's Call. I thought I was buying EverQuest. I bought the wrong game.
That was another one. That's a perfect another one for this whole email. That's amazing. I thought I was getting EverQuest. I got Asheron's Call.
I saw on, I think it was, whatever G4 was at the time. I can't remember if it was GameSpot TV or whatever at the early days. I saw some special on EverQuest and was like, oh my gosh, I got to get this game. And I forgot the name on the trip to the store. Was like, I think this is it. This is the MMO. Says it requires an internet connection. Yeah, I think this is it. Bought it and was like, this doesn't look like the thing they showed. And the funny thing is, the thing that got me, that made me want to play MMOs, was I watched The 13th Warrior.
Oh, that movie!
And great. I was like, this is what an MMO is. It's a group of people. I'm going to be like Antonio Banderas, and I'm going to just join this group of people and go on a really cool quest.
Yeah.
And that's what got me excited about MMOs, and then I bought the wrong one.
And Asheron's Call, I'm looking at some video. Oof.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, it was rough, and I just remember thinking it looked so good. I think the game historically that I was the most wrong about, because I was so convinced it was going to be one thing and it wound up being something else, was that Doom. The kind of remake of Doom.
Yeah.
I was, we had heard that they weren't sending out review copies for that game to anybody, and nobody knew what it was. And you and I had watched the E3 announcement of it, and I was like, this looks like the most bland, generic, just like, yeah, you just shoot stuff game I've ever seen. It doesn't look good. And I was convinced that game was going to be awful. And I had to super eat crow on that one, because not only did we end up buying it that night because we heard such good things about it, but it's one of my favorite games that has ever been made. It's really good.
Wow. Looking at some video also of Asheron's Call. Boy, this stuff is ancient, man.
Oh, man, that looks good. That's compared to what it looked like when I played it. What you're showing right now looks way better.
Yeah, this is somebody's, obviously playing in widescreen here, and they probably upped the graphics a bit. In fact, I see this is at 1440p, but yeah, it was just a different time, man. We were about to get real refined real quick around this time. And as much as everybody loves City of Heroes so much, that thing's ugly. Oh my gosh.
Yeah, City of Heroes.
But you know what else is kind of ugly is WoW. I mean, WoW's kind of ugly. They do the best they can, and it looks pretty good for what it is. But, these games get old. It's fine. It's what you do.
Our fidelity has gotten a lot higher since, and it's hard not to notice it.
It's hard not to notice. And it's hard not to notice awesome emails when we get them. So I want to send a big thanks out to Will for his awesome email. Send those emails into talktothecore@gmail.com, and we'll read them right here on the show. Quick reminder, all of our E3 coverage went up in MP3 format on the feed here. So on the core feed, you'll be able to find all that stuff that we did for the various shows we watched last week. So if you want to get that live commentary, it's there. There's no video versions because DMCA takedowns were real, and I was not up for a second strike on my Twitch account or my YouTube account. So I said nay. So those don't exist, but the audio does, and you can go check it out on the feed if you are so inclined. That's going to do it for us. Don't forget, we are funded entirely by your goodwill over at patreon.com/core show. And without it, I don't even know if there's a show. We need it. We need it to keep the lights on. So if you haven't done it before, check it out today. Patreon.com/core show. And you can find more stuff like this at frogpants.com/core. Also, why not give us a follow on Twitter? We'd like to say stuff things there. Or say stuff things? Say things. Say stuff there. Bo Schwartz on Twitter. I'm at Scott Johnson. John_Jagger for John. And, of course, the show at CorePod. I think it's going to do it for us. John, any final words before we go?
I just want to say stuff things.
Stuff things! Bo, follow that up. What do you got?
Undeliverable. That's all I got.
Undeliverable. That's it, everybody. Have a fantastic week. We'll see you next time right here on Core.
This show is part of the Frog Pants Network. Yes. Get more at frogpants.com.